right, you guys, I want to talk about the topics on the screen. Hopefully, I can get some men here that are willing to discuss this. But I want to talk about I guess the theme of this live is women don't owe men attraction. Number one, I wanted to talk about why do men value looks but expect women not to. Number two, why are women shamed for liking attractive or charismatic men? Why is it a problem that women are gravitating or choosing or want to choose these type of men? Number three, women that aren't considered the beauty standard or they're older women, they oftentimes are treated as less than human and they are expected to have zero standards. However, men that are unattractive expect that women are supposed to overlook that because they're quote unquote nice or whatever the case may be, which is a total double standard. Number four, why do men think that they are entitled to the women they desire? Simply because they think that they're a decent human being. Like, I have a job. I won't beat you. So what? What does that mean? Why does that mean that you're supposed to get some bombshell girl and she's a 9.5 and you're a 1, a solid 1? Like, what? Why do you think that? Because women that are nice, women that are kind, women that do things, they can't go up to the hottest guy in the world and say, hey, I'm a nice girl. Why don't you get with me? He would be looking at her like, no, absolutely not. So that why is that double standard there? And number 5, do all women want the same man? Because I hear this often that all women are looking for the same man, the same type of man, the same this, the same that. Well, if you think that all women are looking for attractive men that are charismatic and smell good and they have this, then why aren't more men striving to be that way? If that's what women like. I don't understand. But anyway, I wanted to talk about these topics, so you don't have to agree with me on these topics. I actually would prefer if you don't agree, because that way we could have a, go back and forth here. Men, I would love to hear from men's perspective on why they think this, if you do think these type of things. So let me know what you think about it, please. So if you're a man, send me a request. I will add you up. If you're a woman and you want to talk about this and what you think about looks, let me know. I will add you up because I think that this is something to talk about, because you hear also a lot of people talk about all women, they want these tall guys that are like super buff and super built and super this. And I don't even necessarily think that's true. I think that a lot of the men that are saying this aren't even average men, because there are plenty of women that are willing to settle. I wouldn't say settle, but they're willing to be with average men. Like, I don't think that's the issue. I think there are men that are maybe below average that want women that are, above average in looks and, things of that nature. I don't think it's an average man conversation. And I think that's something that we got to acknowledge here, because even if you're an average looking person, you can look good too when you got your hair cut, your clothes on, you smelling good, you're doing this or that. Jane Carter says, well, by you putting this on here, you're not going to get any men. I'm already married, Jane Carter. My husband is in the front room gaming right now. So what are you talking about? Maybe you won't get a man, Jane Carter, if that's what you feel like is the end all be all of life, which I don't. I really hate it when people say that too. Like, don't be a pick-me. Don't center your life around wanting a man or getting a man. Like, that's weird to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is a problem. And that's the reason why some single women feel shamed and disrespected for being single, because you got women like you that want to make having a man the end all be all. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. That's really not a good look to do that. Like, I that's so weird. It's so strange to me. Big Ken the Chef, you said, if you are married, I'm just curious why you chose this talking point. This is not a normal married. What? Okay, Ken the chef, I sent you a request. So get in the box, please, so that I can understand fully your question. I'm a social media creator, content creator, whatever you want to call it. So I upload these TikTok lives to YouTube, and it's content for me, and it's my job. But that's pretty much why it was an interesting topic that popped into my head. But I would love to, for you to tell me exactly what you mean, because I'm confused. Will says, do these topics ever get boring? Just asking. Will, I tell you what, do you ever get tired of commenting on the topics? Answer that for me. And then I can answer it for you. I sent you a request to get in the box. So you can tell me. I would love to hear your voice, and you tell me, like, do the comments that you leave, do you ever get tired of leaving those? I'm just asking you. You let me know. All right? Yeah. So anyway, I guess Big Ken the chef doesn't want to get in the box. I guess he may be, afraid to stand on what he said, even though I necessarily don't even understand what he was trying to say. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, like I said, let's see. There were some people in here saying having a man is not a flex. Having a man is not the end of the world. I agree with y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that when women make comments like the one the lady Jane said, I think that causes some women to feel like it is. Some women that turn certain women into pick-me's because of that type of narrative and rhetoric that is being pushed. I don't know. I say that all the time. Having a man is not a flex. Now, if you have a good man that treats you very well, that can be a flex depending on who it is. But I don't think anybody should be flexing any type of relationships or nothing over people. That's just ignorant, in my opinion. But anyway, these are the topics that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, I can get some people in here that want to have the discussion. I would love to hear men's perspective on this, because they say it with their chest all the time, very loudly, about, women valuing these handsome guys. And they always want to talk about how in high school, the girls that they liked ignored them. And it's always somebody that's like 40. It's like, you ain't been in high school in a long time. You still mad about what teenage girls were liking back then? Like, weird. But anyway, yeah, I want to talk about this because, you can have men that subscribe to women and pay money to see their bodies, to see them do this, that, and the third. And they don't feel like they value looks. You are actually paying to see a woman that you feel like is out of your league, but you want to see her in an intimate position. So you go and pay for her OnlyFans. That's way more than women do. If there were no men paying for, OnlyFans and things of that nature, the whole OnlyFans would crumble. I'm not saying there aren't any women that pay for it, but the percentage is way more men than do that. Way more. So anyway, I would really like to talk about this, because I think it's the same thing about, when men, I guess shorter men, say that, oh wow, these women, they want tall men. They want a man that's 6 foot. It's not fair. I can't help the way I was born. I can't help that I was born short. Well, these girls that don't have, BBL hips and a big old booty and big boobs, they can't help it either. They wasn't born like that either. But there's no grace given to them, for not being born that way, in possession of those qualities. So I just don't understand why it's always such a double standard when it comes to the look conversation. It's just the same way how, like, men will tell women that when they get older that they are basically, worthless moving forward. You know what I'm saying? They're just worthless. But then men are supposed to retain their value and all of these things until the end of time, which doesn't make any type of sense at all. Let's see here. Jay the Diplomat says, I'm going to send you an invitation, Jay the Diplomat. You said we're collapsing and this is what our community is on. What would you like me to talk about, Jay the Diplomat? Huh? What are you talking about? Tell me what topic you'd like.
Not picking it up. I got it. Let go. All right.
Yeah, just give me one topic. What would you like to talk about? What do you talk about on your channel, your page? Huh?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Yeah,
You were
what
in
do
my
you talk
headphones for a
about on
little
your
bit.
page? Yeah.
Yeah, say that one more time. You just
I
got out my
said,
headphones.
what do you talk about on your page, and what topic would you like to be discussed today?
Oh, particularly how black people are willing to move forward regarding the election, and more or less if we're going to be safe, given the fact we're in a historical precedent of where you transition into a imperial style collapse. You can name the Roman Empire, Weimar Republic, Yahtzee Germany.
Okay, so exactly what would be the benefit of talking about something right now? You have no control over what's going to happen. Absolutely none. Where are you at? Are you fighting against anything? What are you doing to make
Yep, community on Blue
what?
Sky. Yep, community on Blue Sky.
Okay,
Donating.
so if you're donating and you're doing this community blue sky, then why are you in my live typing? Why aren't you somewhere fighting the power? Why are you here?
Because I can be on TikTok. And I just got
Okay,
over
well
it.
then if you can be on TikTok, then why aren't you consuming the information and the lives that you feel like you need to be in? Wouldn't it be better served that you would be using your Twitter fingers to type somewhere where you could be making a difference?
Oh, all them youngies is offline right now.
Okay, so then why are you here though? Why you could be outside actually, going from door to door, telling people that the whole United States is about to collapse. And
I
hey,
do
let's
though.
rally together and do such and such and such and such instead
I
of
do
my
though.
life. I don't understand.
I do though. You just got hot about it, so you invited me up. You didn't have
No,
to do
I
this.
asked you. All I wanted to know is what topic that you wanted to talk about that you felt like a stranger should be talking about. Like in the fact that you felt like you want to tell me what I'm focused on. Me doing a
Nah,
live
it
for
ain't
an
ready
hour
yet,
or
little
two
bro.
doesn't
It ain't
give a
ready yet.
picture of what I do in my
Oh, you
life or what
talking
I'm
about? I'm
concerned or
waiting for
not
you. I'm
concerned with.
waiting. I'm gonna need you to run that back. I was talking to my little brother.
Okay. All right. What I'm gonna run back is dropping you. I don't want to talk to you. I just wanted to say like it just doesn't make any sense. Like if you're out there, Mister Winter Soldier, I don't understand why you're here in my life. Why aren't you somewhere out here now storming the White House? You know what I'm saying? Why are you in my live talking about this is what we're on? Like, shut up. Go somewhere. Do something. Go brush your teeth. Like, really. He super sounds young and immature. It's just like, get out of here. Like, if you feel that strongly, why would you even take the time to type? Like, just ridiculous. No, I didn't have to bring you up. I only brought you up to hear your voice to make you feel stupid. Just how stupid you were when you typed. That's all. Like you're an idiot. But anyway, I'm gonna block you. Um, you know, anyway, as I was saying, hopefully I can get somebody up here to talk about the actual topics on the screen. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Thinking always says nobody expects a woman not to value looks. I think they do, which is the reason why men say that, hey, I'm nice, I'm nice, I'm nice. So why are these women overlooking me even though I am very unattractive? Vanessa Walker, you said at 37 and getting older, I'm so glad I'm becoming invisible and not desired by men. I've heard that from a lot of women, Vanessa. Actually, uh, let's see here. I actually have. Dottie says, LMAO, what are you laughing at? Dottie, I don't know. I'll send you a request and you can come up and you can tell me what you're laughing at. Thinking Always 723 says the issue is women say they can't find a good man. What they mean is to say they can't find a good man they like. Well, Thinking Always 723, a good man would also encompass a man that they like, that they're attracted to, whose face they can stand to look at. It's one and the same. There is no separation. What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't think that a woman, when she's saying, hey, I want to be with this type of man or that type of man, of course, she wants somebody whose look she can tolerate and stomach and that she likes. I don't, let's see here. Thinking Always says 723. That's not true. You can be a good man and just not attractive. Yes, I'm not saying that you can't be a good man and be unattractive. What I'm saying is that that you being a good man and being unattractive doesn't mean that women owe you their attraction to be with you. That's what I'm saying. A woman isn't making a mistake if she sees a quote unquote good man who's unattractive and she says, no thanks. You're not attractive to me. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's the thing that I said that I wanted to talk about, because there's no way y'all can think that. It's crazy. Like, who wants to be with somebody, laid up with somebody in their face, being, having their guts pumped to oblivion by somebody that's unattractive? Like, y'all, is everybody not a virgin here? Like, y'all know what goes into intercourse. Don't nobody want to be pumped by somebody that looks like a monster? Like, what are we talking about? I don't care how much of a good man you are. Ew. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? Anyway, Laundry Pod says media always portrays beautiful women with mediocre men. Yes, they do. And it is also a brainwashing. You think about King of Queens, you think about Honeymooners, you think about any other type of shows where it was like that dynamic of the unattractive man with the pretty wife. They do it all the time. I think it was a way to brainwash women. Absolutely. Let's see here. Layla says, and then you pass those those jeans on to your kids. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I mean, Layla. You're right. You're not about to make me pass no bad jeans on. Nope. Nope. You saying you unattractive. I know you unattractive. What make you think I'm finna be with you and have your kids so I can have some unattractive kids? Like, no. That's what we're not gonna do. What are we doing? No. Yeah, Justified Poet. You said, since time, women have always been saying tall, dark, and handsome. Exactly. I don't understand why it's supposed to be this new thing that women all of a sudden were wanting or desiring good looking men or nice men. Like, I don't get it. For real. You're not about to have me curse my kids. Nope. But anyway, hopefully I can get some men to come up here. And there were a couple men that said some crazy stuff in the comments, but I guess they were too afraid to get in the box and say how they feel, you know, about these topics. But I would love to hear from it. Why do men value looks and why do y'all expect women not to? That's the number one question I have, just the double standard. And just like I was saying earlier, I think a perfect double standard is height. Height. How men talk about, oh, I was born this way. I was born this way. It's not my fault. I'm 5'6". It's not my fault. So you guys judging me on my height is something I can't control. Okay, well, a woman's face is something that she can't control. However she was born and how her face looks. How her body shape, if her breasts are big or small, or her butt is big or small, or her hips are out there or they're not. That all cannot be helped. But that doesn't stop y'all from shaming women who are built in ways that y'all don't like. And I'm not necessarily talking about weight. So what? Let's see here. Vanessa, you said, nah, my husband is 6'2". I don't do gnomes. Vanessa, I feel you, but stop it. Oh. You know what? I did a live on height a long time ago, and there were so many men mad at me because I am 5'11". And man, I was saying that when I was like single and I was out in this world, like I would never talk to someone that was not taller than me because ill. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to be taller than no man that I'm talking to. And men were mad at me. For real, like angry. Angry. Oh, so you miss out on your blessing. I'd be like, then that wasn't my blessing. I wouldn't be missing out on nothing. Because if you shorter than me, you're not my blessing. Period. I'm sorry. No. No. You know, absolutely not. Sorry. Hey, just CC, another tall hottie in here. Justified poet. Girl. Justified poet said missionary is not the same. Girl, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I was saying earlier, is that when y'all talking about y'all want women to accept these unattractive dudes, like, are y'all saying that nobody's having intercourse? Because what do you do? You want me to look at that mug? Like, what are we doing here? That's what you want me to look at. And you feel like I should be cool, but you think that, so this man is supposed to think the woman's attractive. And so he's looking all in her face and all that, and he's thinking she looks all good. But then you want me to be looking back at Freddy Krueger? No, 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 no. Absolutely not. As stop the games. Treasure Chest 617 says I'm only 5'8" and I can't with the shorter men. You know what, Treasure Chest? You're still actually tall. You know, when it comes to the statistics of women, I think the average height of a woman is, if I'm not mistaken, 5'4", 5'5". So you're already tall. Like, you would be considered tall or of above average height. Laundry Pot says getting pounded by Freddy Krueger. That's what I'm saying. Like, snap. Justified Poet, you said you dated a short man. Napoleon Complex for short. I talked to a short man. I went out on a couple dates and never again. I did it one time. It's just not my cup of tea. And it wasn't even like he was super short, but I was taller. And I just never. I think it was like, and he was cool, but I think it was like our second or third date, maybe. I think maybe. I know when I was like maybe 2 or 3 times, he told me he wanted me to wear flats. This is like, yeah, no. This is just, no. I never would. That was the one time. Never would do it again. I wouldn't recommend that. Let's see here. BG Lavish, you said I'm 5'3", engaged to a 5'10" man. He just has to be taller than me. He doesn't have to be 6 foot. BG Lavish, I think that's perfect. Like, you're 5'3", so I don't think that they're, statistically, partners, the man is normally taller in about 90% plus of relationships. The man is taller. Even if the man is short, he tends to still get a woman that he's taller than. So I think that most women don't care if they're short, if the man is like 6 foot. They just want the man to be taller than them. Now, I'm not saying you don't have those few women that are like, 5'2" or something. They want a man that's like 6'5". But I think most women don't care. They just want a man that's taller, than them. So that they can feel, girly and stuff like that. Because it's just like, I just, me personally, this isn't to knock anyone else. I just personally couldn't feel girly, and I'm taller or bigger than my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like I couldn't feel that way, and that just wouldn't be good for me. It would just be Sahara Desert time, Sahara Desert, sandpaper world. If you get my drift, no. Okay, let me see if y'all said anything else in there. I'm hoping that I can see Vanessa Walker. You said the short man that I dated had all the audacity. Justified Poet, you said his mom asked you to wear flats. See? That's what I'm saying. The whole flats conversation. Crazy. Layla, you said I'm 5'1" and my second boyfriend was 5'2". He was so mean. Ooh, 5'2" is so petite for a man. Oh my. He probably was just very upset at what the cards that genetics have dealt him, because that's 5'2" is nasty work. Man, whoa. This is nasty work. Oh man. Layla, you said Sahara means desert in Arabic. So you're saying desert. Oh, you know what? So that must be the same as chai tea. Layla, you know how they say, like, I think chai is like means tea, and I think like Indian, right? And so they were saying is like when you say chai tea, you're saying TT. I think, yeah. Okay, Justified Poet, you said you're 5'2" and he was 5'4" and you love heels. Yeah. Girl, if you 5'2", you definitely should be able to wear heels. That's crazy. Okay, you said it means tea in Arabic and Hindi. Okay. All right. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. I will put that in my mental Rolodex for sure. Hopefully I like you guys. I was going to end the live, but I'm trying to see if possibly I can get some men to come here and we can have a conversation about this. I mean, and also women. I don't mind women joining the panel either. But I was hoping I might be able to get some men in here that can give me clarity on why these things are happening, you know? But haven't got anything. Let's see here. Pep says, I can imagine the 5'2" guy with you at 5'11". Man, oh no, I would, that would just look wild. I'd look crazy. Oh, let's see here. Stop reporting me says, ask Beauty and the Beast why. I don't know what you mean by that. Don't know. All right. Let's see here. Justify Poet, you said I need a don't date single mom prompt. Tell me what type of topics you would want to on that. Justify Poet. Tell me. Like, give me the topics that you would want to be underneath there, underneath a topic like that. And I can definitely make one. Justify Poet. Let me know. But yeah, hopefully I can get some men to come in. You know, we're not talking about fairy tales. Stop reporting me. You know, let's see here. Laundry Pod says, like, why do we have to accept the bottom of the barrel men, but single moms are gross? I mean, you're right about that. But you know what I think? I think that a lot of men cap on the internet when it's regarding single mothers. I think that an attractive single mom who has a lot going on for herself, and she, I don't believe she will have that many men telling her no. I'm not saying it's not some men that would say no, you have children, but a lot of men would talk to her. You know, a lot of men would. I think they just cap online in regards to single mothers. But that's just my opinion. You know. But let me see you guys. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it like another 5 minutes or so. Let's see here. There's a man here in the comments, Joystick Guru. I sent you a request if you want to get in the box. That way I can understand what you're saying. That way you don't have to be, hindered by not being able to type all the characters in the chat. Okay, go ahead, Joystick Guru. What were you saying, sir? Let me send you a request to turn your mic on just in case. You can go ahead and say, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, well, I had to put my headphone on. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, no, I was just saying you can go ahead and say your perspective now. That way you're not hindered by how much you can type in the box. No, you can't.
Oh, got you. I was just saying, what you women, or I'm not going to say you women. Matter of fact, I would say all women. Matter of fact, every woman needs to understand that even attractive men, we don't get approached like you guys think we do at all. I'm sure anybody could take a look at my profile. I'm not going to tell you my age, but the reason why I say my profile is because I have one video that shows me being fat to skinny. So it'll show you what I look like in every phase of my life, from fat all the way to skinny. And I consider myself a decent looking guy. I'm not the best looking guy. But you know how many times I've ever been approached in my entire life? I'm talking about even DMs, direct messages from real people, not fake people, real people, of any girl ever saying, hi, I think you look good, or hi, I would like to talk to you. It never happens. It doesn't happen like that. Trust me. You guys think it happens? And yes, we do. You know, we go get our hair cut and we look good. We're wearing real nice clothes, whatever. I never get approached like that. And I consider myself at least a decent looking dude. I know I'm not ugly. That's happened to me like 4 times in my entire life. So it's completely different for guys. I'll tell you that. You guys don't want to think, you know, you don't think it's not like that. You guys think we go and we get all dolled up and then there's 50 people in our DMs and we post a picture and all of a sudden there's people all in, you know, over you. No, it doesn't happen that way. I'll tell you that. That's all I was saying in the chat.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't necessarily think that. I never thought that men got approached like that. The only men that I think that probably get approached in the way that you said are men that are considered extremely handsome. Like extremely handsome, like, you know, unusually attractive. You know, I think those type of men get attention. I've seen it in my life, men that are extremely attractive. But I think if you're just a regular looking guy or you're not a bad looking guy, you know, or you say you're not ugly and things like that, you may not get approached like that. I think that women making the approach, though, you have to be unusually attractive to get that type of treatment, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
For a guy,
Yeah,
absolutely. 100%. Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I get what you're saying, but do you think that women are interested in all women want the same man, the same type of man?
Oh, I think that's a broad, I guess, a broad question. Like, in what sense? Like, well, okay. I guess to answer your question directly, because I've been thinking about this a little bit lately. I think what people don't understand is, yeah, I hear a lot of people saying men want to be babied and they want a mom. They're like, oh, you know, they don't want a partner, they want a mom. Here's the thing. Us men that were raised by our women, are raised by our mom, we know, and it's still evident every day of our lives, that our mom will always be there no matter what. So yeah, if that's a quality that we are looking for in a woman, yes, we are looking for a woman that will nurture us, that will be with us and for us, like in no no conditions at all. I mean, obviously, you know, bar the crazy, you know, oh, he's a cheater or whatever. But you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're saying that you think that men want a woman that's like their mom, that they feel like is not going to leave.
Well, it's not in that sense, but when a man is looking for a life partner, he's looking for somebody that he could trust as much as he could as their mom. Like in any fashion, you know, your mom is going to have your back no matter what. And we're not looking for a replacement mother, as a lot of people say. You know, we're looking for loyalty in that fashion. Not in the same, obviously, not in the same motherly son love. We're looking at it completely differently.
Okay.
And then I do notice when it comes to a lot of women, the unconditional affection that you guys are searching for is, in a lot of ways, you guys want your men to love you unconditionally as a father would his daughter.
I mean, I see that's where you kind of lost me, because I don't believe in unconditional love. I don't think that anyone shows unconditional love for the most part. Now, there may be people that exhibit unconditional love, but generally, those are people that are often taken advantage of. But if you think about it in relationships, like if there's a child and their mother, like some people have kids and they say like their child will give them unconditional love. But if you grow up, that child grows up with you and you abuse them, you mistreat them, you don't do right by them, they will end up not loving you anymore. There are so many people that go no contact with their parents, will have nothing to do with their parents. So that, to me, that's not unconditional. Then you have parents that,
Oh well, I mean, obviously that's
they,
different.
you
I
know,
mean, we're not talking about parents that obviously mistreat their kids. You know what I mean? But if you say, for example, okay, I'll just say in my example, I grew up in a not even a single mother household, but it might as well been. My mom was dating pretty much bums. My first stepdad was good. He was awesome. He did his thing. He went to work. He paid his part of the bills and all that goodness. They didn't work. 10, 11 years into my life, they divorced, and then she got with a complete piece of shit, pretty much, who didn't help. So I saw both ends of the spectrum. I saw a 50-50 relationship, everybody was happy, and then I saw a piece of shit, he didn't help do anything. I saw both ends of the spectrum. I saw how to treat a person and how not to treat a person. And when it comes down to that type of upbringing, you see that it takes a lot more than saying, that you care for somebody, or, it does take some unconditional love. It really does. To put up with any of that,
okay,
but we're not talking about, a mom that abuses you, and, or a dad that abuses you, et cetera. So, I mean, those are obviously outliers. I'm terribly sorry for people that do go through that. My real dad wasn't in the picture either. That's a long-winded story as well.
yeah, just
But
1 second,
I get it.
Joy. I wanted to respond to everybody in the comments that were talking about like the conditional versus unconditional conversation. The reason why I was saying that earlier is because I just wanted to say that all relationships are conditional. I don't even believe there's really any such thing as unconditional love, because even the relationship that you have with your children is based on what they're doing. If your child, when they became 16, 17, tried to unalive you, tried to do something to you, then you would be like, yeah, you know what? Get lost, kick rocks, because look what you've done. The conditions are respect, depending on what relationship it is. The condition could be love. The condition could be don't be a cheater. The condition could be not knocking my head between the washer and dryer. But in every relationship we have, there are conditions that relationship is dependent on, in my opinion. Even the relationship between a mother and a child. Now I'm not saying that there might be some outliers out there that would still, try to have their kid around even if they were a danger to them or something like that, and say, well, I love you no matter what, even though you're a danger to me. But for the most part, relationships are conditional. You know what I mean? All relationships, even the relationships that a mother has with their children. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. I think that it's a logical opinion just from seeing how things go in society and in the world, and relations between parents and, partners, or friends or whatever. But, that's just my opinion, because I would never tell anyone that my love is unconditional, because it's not. Because if you play with me, then there's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for anybody. Now I'm not saying now you have a baby before they grow up and they can be cognizant and aware of the things that are going on. I guess you can consider that unconditional until that child is truly aware of the consequences of their actions or what they're doing. But you know, I just really think that all relationships are conditional. Every relationship. But anyway, like I said, you guys, I was hoping that I could get some, more discourse from men about the thing of, why are there some men that value the looks of a woman, but they expect women not to, and all of the other things that I had up here. Oh, and thanks for the guy that came up. Um, the guy that just came up. I just forgot your name that quick, but thanks for coming up. Appreciate you. But anyway, that's what I was hoping I could have a discourse about it. But I don't think I have any men that are really directly talking about the actual topics, that we're talking about. So Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Hey, how you doing, Caramel Mermaid? Yes, Justified Poet says, and then there are the toxic people that want unconditional tolerance. Yes. Yeah. Okay, if you're reading this says, so men don't owe you protection and provisioning. No, I don't. I don't know how, if you're reading this, I don't understand how me saying that women don't owe men attraction has anything to do with men owing women protection and provisioning. If you're not in a relationship with a woman, you don't owe her provision. And I think most women know that the average man is not going to protect them if something goes left, you know? So I don't think women are even thinking that's going to happen. I mean, like when that whole brick situation happened and men were saying that they were not going to protect anybody, that they had to go home and they got to make it home and this and that. I don't think any women were thinking moving forward that men were there to protect or provide for them. Now, if you have a man, then that's something different. Like that's your man you're laying up with every day, then that's something different. But um, yeah, you said good, just making sure if women say they don't owe men anything, the same goes in reverse. I said that women don't owe men their attraction. That's what I said. You think that women owe men their attraction? That's what you think? I don't think so. I don't think that you saying that you're a man or you're a good man or you're a nice guy, that means that women have to be attracted to you. That's not the only thing that's attraction is based on. But I don't understand the protection and provision part as the like aha moment because it's not even the same thing, really. It's not even the same. It's not even in the same ballpark. It doesn't make sense. And if you're reading this says, guess we all don't owe each other anything, even a relationship. If you're in a relationship, you absolutely owe each other something. Please don't argue a point that I did not say. If you're in a relationship, yes, y'all owe each other something. Yes. I'm saying that men that come out on these podcasts and say, oh, these women don't like me, they're overlooking me, even though I'm a nice guy. I don't understand it. I don't understand why these women want handsome guys or they want tall guys. That's not fair. I should be able to get a girl because I'm a nice guy. That's a problem because these women don't have to choose you. They don't owe you nothing. That's what I'm saying. Uh, yeah. BG Lavish says, I've met so-called nice guys who weren't actually good guys who thought I owed them. Absolutely. I think a red flag is a dude saying he's a nice guy or a good guy in the first place. Because you don't need to say you're a good guy. You don't need to say you're a nice guy. Like somebody will figure that out by your actions. Don't nobody want to hear you give lip service as to what type of person you are. So I wouldn't even, let's see here. Roguish Sun says, unless those are the type of dudes that you specifically like. Um, I don't, you have to tell me what you mean by that, Roguish Sun. I did send you a request. Dwayne says, I think men and women are entitled to what they want. Anyone can have a preference in what, yes, I think so too. I think anyone can have a preference. I don't see anything wrong with that. The only thing I ever thought was strange are racial preferences. Like if you're a black person and you specifically, like if you're a black man, you say, hey, I only like white tea women. I think that's a weird preference and it's rooted in self-hatred. But as far as anything else, like short, tall, skinny, big, BBW, whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let's see here. If you're reading this says, so all the videos of women complaining about chivalry and men not protecting. Once again, if you're reading this, I think that you're wrong in your thoughts because you being chivalrous or nice to a woman is not the same thing as expecting her because you do those things to be attracted to you. You get what I'm saying? You're just being a decent human being if you're chivalrous or you would protect a woman if you saw something happening to her. That doesn't mean that because you do that, that you see this woman that she doesn't find you attractive, but because you do these other things, she has to like you. I can't understand how you don't see that that's weird. Go ahead, Roguish Sun. because you said these dudes have already been exposed. This is an argument that is old. Tell me what you mean. Go ahead, Rogish. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Let me know if I'm not.
Yeah, you did. Much respect on that. As far as it goes with those type of cats, this is the issue. When we'll say the Kevin Samuel blueprint was put out there, it had already been about 15 years old. So people grasping onto it now, back in those days, in 2020, it was something fresh to them, and it was a new perspective of engaging women for accountability, for basically being heard. But some cats had not earned their say in order to call women into any type of accountability. You did have a mixture of squares, lames, solid cats, and thorough cats that was all involved with the creation of the rhetoric. It did come from a place where cats wasn't just randomly calling women to no type of accountability. That's what it grew into. But when it started, oh no, it started off with husbands and fathers lamenting the fact that they were now thrusted into different dynamics of engaging their families, the system, the state, and all of this. So what it's grown into now basically is game for lames. And if you got some who was never being chosen before, but now they can have some form, I guess, of a rhetoric that they could use as a tool, if you will, they're going to do that and they're going to abuse that.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you saying that like Kevin Samuels and stuff like that, in the beginning it was just about men and what they had going on, it wasn't the same as what's going on now?
Exactly. It was just about brothers sharpening one another. But if you get those who never had any concert with women, if you will, okay, they definitely know how to see a workable system. And that's why you got all these lames on here. You're him from all over parts of the world. But they're using Kevin Samuel rhetoric in order to go about their assessment. So that shows you they don't have none of their own game. They don't have none of their own culture. This is basically being utilized as some form of advantageous tool to paint women into a corner that they would not have had access to.
Okay. I don't do you, okay, so do you mean Kevin Samuel specifically, or do you just mean like that genre of like
No, I mean red pill. I mean red pill altogether. I'm former red pill from that space as of 2007. So I was there for the whole thing before Kevin Samuel was even thought of.
Oh, okay.
We're talking red pill rhetoric, and that's basically what these people think that they're doing. They think that they're pushing red pill rhetoric when all it is actually is gender war, and that's one of the things that the Black manosphere was trying to get away from when they broke off from the so-called manosphere proper with all the racist white T dudes, and Asian and whoever the hell else was there.
Okay, I think
And hold up. And somebody say I'm reformed. Tommy Sotomayor follower. Never. Tommy was never a part of the space. Ever.
yeah, because I don't know too much about the, like you said, like the 2007 what was going on back then. I have no idea, but
Yeah.
I will say that Tommy Sotomayor, I did know about him, and he was disrespecting and violating Black women he's been doing that for decades, and also just being an all around with something that rhymes with cartoon. Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's been that way for a long time. I can't imagine any self-respecting Black man ever being on Tommy Sotomayor's side in anything. I know he had, what am I on my backup page? Yeah, I'm on my backup page right now. But he had sent me, he asked me like several times to get on one of his podcasts. I was like, man, you can't be freaking serious. I absolutely not. I would never ever do anything with somebody like that. Yeah. So he was like, and yeah, he was the worst of the worst. I think there were a lot of Black men that may not have necessarily liked his particular rhetoric, but Yeah,
Oh no, there was cats in the space who rocked with Tommy, and that was one of the things that everybody used to butt head on. You had some cats who was just butt hurt because they wasn't getting chosen, and then you had some cats who was actually sharing a brotherhood of sharpening one another with their experience, anecdote, skill set, all of that. It wasn't just black women get right. No, it was like, okay, well, this is what I'm dealing with as a black man, and here what the level is, here what the issue is in a relationship. And then when you have brothers who say, you know what, I encountered something of a similar pattern of response from my wife or my lady whenever we're blah blah blah. So then you're going to build on that. It's just, no different from, I don't go to church no more, but like one of them workshops that they used to do at church or something like that. And it just kept growing.
okay. So what spaces would you say a man like you is in right now?
Oh, I ain't in none of them. No, I think they all bullshit. I think what it is, I think what it is they done found a way to grift, and one, they're not going about any of this analysis and empathy, and that was the issue that I was always charging toward the cats in
I
the black
didn't
manosphere. I was
I
like,
didn't hear the
look,
last thing.
y'all sound like y'all bashing.
I didn't hear the last thing that you said. I think you might have
Yeah,
it was interrupted, but I didn't hear it.
my bad. Yeah, I tell them if you're not approaching this, if you're not approaching this analysis with some empathy, if you're not trying to be empathetic and be in that reflection, then you got an issue because you're not doing it from love. You don't want to see her better. You just want her to get right. And you know what I'm saying? Not everybody is cut from that cloth where they can, you know what I'm saying, be of that regard. So, but with this new rhetoric, they're granted somewhat of an advantageous position in social dynamics, at least when it comes to the whole unnecessary back and forth, he say, she say bullshit.
Okay. Okay. Um. Well, did you? Is there any other questions that you might want to answer that's on the screen, or is that all you want to say?
Let's see. Why do men value looks but respect women not to? I don't know. That's goofy. Um, if you like some eye candy, she definitely gonna like some eye candy. That goes without saying. Um, why are women shamed for liking attractive, charismatic men? Again, someone who can't get women, that's going to be their perspective with it. You feel me? Um, three, women that are considered the beauty standard or older are treated less than human and are expected to have zero standards. Okay, well, these are from cats who trying to overtly use the advantage, I guess, what they feel that they're gain being within that realm of so-called six figures, and I'm worth this much, and blah blah blah. The thing is that has nothing to do with the family that you're looking to develop. Now, if you're talking so-called dating and courting, then okay, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have y'all fun or whatever. But ultimately, people not understanding that you're supposed to be speaking on relationships and that which comes from relationship, family. But a lot of people is doing this modern day courting and dating shit. And it's like, well, that's one thing I used to charge the cats in the space with. What you're trying to call these women into an accountability of, that's a wife. That's not just a girlfriend. That's a wife, let alone not being a girlfriend or just some regular chick that you're dating. You're calling these women to a wife's accountability. So are you trying to marry them? No, you're not. So you don't get that right. Again, it's game for lames. So unfortunately, they've been able to run with the scrolls.
Okay.
For why do men think they are entitled to the woman they desire? The same reason they do that whole 1 to 10 bullshit. They feel that they're deserving of their non-black peer groups who are at similar social levels within society. Hence why they always say, hey, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Oh, six figures. I make a lot of money doing this. And in society, I should be a bigwig to you and to everybody else. Please. And 5, do all women want the same man? That ain't up to me. I don't know. I don't know. Do y'all want the same man? I don't think so, but
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I think baseline, most women want a man that they're attracted to and things like that, and that can, support them, or a man that they feel like can protect them. I think those are kind of baseline things, but I think everything else is is very different in the things that women desire. Some women don't mind, having a partnership with a man going 50-50 or splitting things down the middle. Some women want to be catered to. They don't want to do that. They want a luxurious type of situation. I think that there are a lot of women that are into a lot of different things. And I don't think that all women want the same men. Because I think what one woman thinks is great, another woman might think is a deal breaker.
Yeah, true that.
I don't think so. I just think that a lot of those things, in my opinion, are like shaming tactics to get women to accept men that normally wouldn't be chosen. It's just to shame them into giving those men an opportunity, which I think is really lame and disgusting.
Well, yeah, and also on y'all got to remember on this social media, y'all ever notice that the cats who be giving these type of prompts and giving these type of shows, they can't go deep into what it is that they present. That's how you know that they're just using it for some advantageous type of perspective, and they're there to just merely to agitate, not to develop understandings, not to craft understandings, not to move into a deeper harmonious synergy, perhaps. No, just to agitate because this is the new grift thing. That's why after Kevin Samuel dropped, everybody started doing it. People who was talking about clothing, people was talking about makeup, people were talking about shoes. All of a sudden now everybody's a fucking expert on relationships. It was amazing. And I've been part of restoration towards Black relationships well before the Black manosphere was a thing. I'm also a former Pan-Africanist, and I can remember we're talking early 2000s, wasn't nobody talking about Black relationships on the regard of healthy roles, healthy participation, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't for transactions or nothing. It was all for the sake of family, you know what I'm saying? Family development, family planning, nation building, if you will, what they called it in the Black Power Pan-African sector. But there was nobody else talking about it during 1999, 2000, 2001. You didn't have a whole lot of people doing that. But once this new dynamic is presented of how to approach it, okay, now everybody get the, I can do this now, So, but people, and I'll end off with this. I think the way that it is that people not understanding that with this red pill rhetoric style of analysis of these very real factors in our reality, what it does, it diminishes the value of those factors, and they just become mere topical conversation and remain, remain unsolutioned, remain unfixed. Real talk.
Okay. All right. Let me go up here to Tino. You can go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, the only one that I read so far was number one. But like as a dude, I would consider myself maybe like like an 8.5 going on to strong 9. And that's just from what other people told me. And so like normally I would date like at my level or below my level, typically. And I think that's fair. Why expect more from another person if you're not providing more? So if you're going for looks, then you should know where you land. I also hate the number system. Yeah, it's not accurate.
Okay.
But yeah, if that makes sense.
I feel like I think everyone has a right to want someone that's attractive, and I think that I don't know if you should value looks above anything else, but I do think that when I hear men say things like, women are only looking for a certain type of man, they're looking for an attractive man and stuff like that, and why are they overlooking me because I'm so nice and this and that. Looks are important, and I think they're important to everybody, but I always thought that looks seem to be okay to be important to men, but not for women. Women are supposed to be somehow willing to just look at the soul of a person as opposed to the outside, but the men don't really have to do that.
And there's a reason why. I can actually explain that. It's relatively new. That used to never really happen as often as it did because if you look post World War II, there was always an even ratio of people getting married. Sadly, before that, it was really just the kings and people that had power that could marry multiple women, which is why you see multiple women in your own bloodline that primarily carry your generation forward. So this blaming women for picking the best option that they have, it's not looking at the whole picture holistically. So number one, a majority of women, when it does come to dating preferences, they don't use dating apps. It's relatively small. It's a small group of women, 20% of women and 80% of men on these apps are blaming a small minority group of women for picking the best option that they have. We can all acknowledge that dating apps are surface level. So if a majority of men are complaining about, not necessarily being worthy enough, then doesn't that make sense to not necessarily blame women for a small minority? A majority of women don't really care for looks. I'll be honest. A lot of women typically do. I would say sometimes even date down, respectfully. I think guys should do that, but ego.
I think that there are some women that are willing to date down as far as it goes, as far as looks and attraction goes. But I think that
Right.
it is a
They're more
societal
willing to
pressure.
compromise. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's societal pressure, and I think it's a brainwashing that women are expected to do something differently than men do. And I'm a very big advocate of women to stop doing those type of things. I, just like a man for the most part, would not give you a chance if he was not attracted to you. He would not be trying to make you his wife. He would not be trying to be with you. I do not think that women should do that either. I really don't. I think that looks should be, well, I can't say should be because who am I to say what something should be important to someone else? But I do think that looks are important. And as I said earlier, who wants their guts to be pumped to oblivion by Freddy Krueger just because he's a so-called great guy or nice guy or whatever? I just don't think that that should happen because a woman that was pursuing a man that was
Yeah.
like deemed to be extremely attractive, let's say he was a very attractive man, very highly sought after by women, there's no way a woman that would be beneath him would be able to come and say, hey, you know what? I'm a nice girl. I know how to cook. I know how to do this and that. Hey, how about you give me a chance? More than likely, 9 times out of 10, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't. But for some reason,
Yeah.
women, even extremely attractive women, are expected to just accept mediocre men, and I don't agree with that at all.
Well, I think it really comes down to, like how are you dating? Because I don't think there are a lot of men that are approaching women. If that was the case, especially I'm Gen Z, then we would see, I think, better couples than what we have now because, like a lot of people just meet through the internet, dating apps, which is very surface level. And so I think because of the fact that we're just so digital, everybody really cares about appearance. But again, I see women willing to compromise on looks if this man actually is a good man. Like, without a doubt, like some people are willing to make that sacrifice just for the sake of knowing themselves. If you really do know yourself, then at the end of the day, even for me, like looks don't matter. I say that, holistically, like you have to take care of yourself. That is the baseline. That is without a doubt. You have to brush your teeth every morning. You have to, and there are women that don't brush their teeth. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, but like general grooming. It's not that hard to be attractive. It really isn't. You just have to take care of yourself. That's all.
I mean, I think with the day, with the younger people, because I'm married and I have been out of the dating market for a very long time. Been married for 15 years, but I would just say that even when I was dating back in the day, I still think that looks was very important to women. I really do. I think that sometimes women are willing to overlook that, but I do think that it's important. And I think that some women are ashamed to say truly how important it is, in my opinion. I'm not saying that other things don't
Yeah.
matter as well, like someone's education or someone what they're doing for a living or their personality or things like that. But I do think that is very important. And John Blunt in the comments, that is talking about, that men, highly sought after men, choose unattractive women or mediocre women. Though that is very rare, unless the man has kept a woman that he has had before he was able to get any type of status or whatever. And a lot of times those women get left. So I don't, and those men upgrade. So I really don't even know what you're talking about, but it is definitely not true. You'd be hard pressed to find a man that is extremely attractive with a woman that is not at that level or higher. And you're talking about outliers and you're talking about rarities. And so I don't know what you're talking about. And most of the time, those men leave those women. So I don't. What you're saying doesn't even make any rational sense. It
I was
doesn't.
gonna say, I guess like a good way to really look at question number one is because it's really hard to generalize, but I do have data on this. Dating strategies, right? So I think when it comes to a lot of younger and sadly even older men, I think they value looks because do you think those men have a higher body count than the women that they're going after?
Wait a minute.
Value looks because everyone likes an attractive partner. That there is that this is just chemistry
No,
and
but hear me out. Hear me out. You can keep going, but I didn't mean to interrupt. But
no, go ahead.
there's a little bit more to it. Yeah.
You you can keep
Oh,
going.
yeah. Oh, for who? For him?
No, you were already speaking, Tino.
Land your plane. My bad.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
so
just
sorry.
interjecting.
Well, what I was just primarily saying is when it does come to dating strategies, typically women would want a commitment. So then at that point, they are more focused on compatibility, where I don't see as many men worried about that as well, too. However, based off of the data on partners, men typically on average have, a significantly higher body count than women. And I'm just saying primarily the priority for men is just procreation, something that makes them feel schmexually stimulated versus, the other side of stimulation, which can be emotional stimulation. And I personally, I do like emotional stimulation. I'm not saying, like one is predisposed to the other, but I think like because of the fact that the dating strategies are different, it shows that, we have different values and different things. And I think that's okay. Like I genuinely think that's okay.
I don't think most men are concerned with procreation. I think most men have been socialized to feel like being sexually undisciplined is okay. And
Yeah.
I wanted to respond to John Blunt in the comments. You keep talking about these men like you mentioned Tiny and Ti. Ti has cheated on Tiny from the very beginning. He's cheated on her with many women, many different women, truly beautiful women. I think one of the side chicks that was very, open, Bernice Burgos, who was absolutely stunning. He may keep her around as the baseline, but he definitely cheats on her and is out with a whole bunch of other different people. And when you said that men are only as faithful as their options, I think that men like yourself, like when y'all say things like that and y'all make that as representative of all men, y'all don't understand how much y'all push forward the negative rhetoric that you hear surrounding men, because y'all will be upset when women get on live panels and they say things like men can't be trusted, men are cheaters, men are liars, men are disgusting, they're not to be trusted, and all of these other things, or women say men ain't no good and all of these things. But y'all will gladly say these things out of your own mouth that proves all of these points. And for some reason, you think it's like an aha moment. You saying that is just only proves the points and the ideology of a lot of women and what they believe men's character to be. I just really want
A
you to know
clever
that
bit
saying that is
by
not a good
Chris
look.
Rock. That was a
Huh?
clever bit. That was an attempt to be clever bit by Chris Rock. And when we're talking about Hollywood, we cannot judge Hollywood as being one moral enough to be in a stable relationship, or two as the containing the average of archetype of character for a man. You know what I'm saying? These cats are ballers. They tycoons. Everybody knows that the rules get quite fluid when you're a tycoon.
no rules. And I just say that because in order to gain wealth, in order to gain, equity, sadly, you have to sell your soul, which is your values and your beliefs. That's just, the sad part. I wouldn't look up to some of those people personally. They gross me out.
I just wanted to say I'm not saying that, rich men don't maybe possibly do certain different live by certain different rules that maybe the average man doesn't. But I think that a lot of the ideologies that this John person has is present in the average everyday man as well, that thinks the same way, that, they want to exercise their options and all of those type of things. And like I said, saying things like that, like when men say, men are biologically, like I did a live where I talked about, are men biologically hardwired to cheat? And every man that came up there said that was true, except for one. And then turn around, and then when women say these things like, oh, men are cheaters, men are gross, they can't be trusted, like, oh, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Like, but this whole patriarchal thinking that men are somehow, exempt from sexual discipline is just, like I say, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it's weird to hear men just say the things that women say about them, but if they say it, it's okay. And it's so many men that agree. Weird.
It's a contradiction. And that's where I was just saying, like, it's a majority of men blaming a small minority of women for problems. It's not consistent. It's not fair. Like, just go out there and talk to women, like, go touch grass. So I guarantee a majority of them actually would be open and inviting to, just see things naturally further. And I just think, like, most dudes are lazy. If you're expecting to find a woman on a dating app, then, you're doing the bare minimum. You're making a profile that's not husband material, but I know some people get lucky. But think about that. Like, your future husband is not making a dating profile. Like, your future husband is out there building a life for himself, knowing himself, and just genuinely a good person, willing to give you a good life with you as well, too. And I don't think they would be, investing into something like that.
I don't know. I think that I know people personally that have found love online.
Right. I didn't want to negate that. That's why I just said, like, openly, like, there are people that do
it's not the standard.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's. Let's be honest, right? Like Tinder. What do you think that's used for? It's used. It's a hookup app. Even Bumble now is trying to promote, hooking up more. When it was first, an app for women. So, like, again, it's where do they make the majority of their money from? From men coming back. So typically, Schmeck sells. So if you download these apps, it's a medium between you and your couch versus you and this girl in your bed. that's sadly sometimes, the objective. And I think, it's good to be honest. You can use the apps for that. Like, if you're honest with a woman, majority of the time, she'll be okay with that. But as soon as you start manipulating, things, then that's not right.
Okay, all right. Did you have anything to say, Roguish son, in response, or?
No, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
I think his stance is, like you say, he's Zillennial, so that means that there is a greater component of potentially a non-organic dynamic that you have to include in your assessment, which is kind of odd to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm super old school. I've never used a dating app, and the fact that okay, we can call it dating apps, but I think it's more of a digitized perspective of one's engagement. Whether you're on a specific app for dating or not, if you're on one of these devices and you're interacting, then you have potential for grounds of chemistry, if you will. It's just happened through a digital medium. But as far as it goes with dating app, I don't know. I'm kind of too old school to be I probably shouldn't be in the conversation. I just know the history behind the red pill rhetoric and all that, so I just can't offer that. But as far as moving forward with this, I see a perpetual gender war and the he say she say taking over, as opposed to understandings from either party, and that shows ever more so just how transactional the entirety of the society is growing. I think this is a canary in the coal's mine, if you will, canary in the coal mine, and it shows you just how digitized or what the worth of the society is going towards. Hence this whole transactional. What you bring to the table. What you bring to the table. I remember the dude who first presented that perspective, and when he presented it, BGS, for y'all who don't know, I tried to tell him, like, look, this is not a good look, because it makes things very transactional. Now, if you're dealing with 304s and hoes, okay, you go ahead and do that. So keep it super transactional. But if you're talking to cats who are seeking relationship, you don't go at women. You don't go at your potential wife with what you bring to the table. No, that's it's not supposed to be transactional. It's supposed to be merging. It's supposed to be more synergy involved when you're talking relationship. But if you're talking just, I guess, this modern day courting and dating, then yeah, it is transactional. Where we gonna eat at, how much you gonna spend on me, how much I'm worth, this, that, and the third. Back in the day when people used to do that $40, hey, you spend $40 on a hoe. That was way back in the day, right? And nobody had no type of specific measurement of money that they would spend on a woman or nothing like that, unless she was a hoe. Other than that, you're going to be open enough to be with a woman and being open with her, and wherever it goes, it goes. You just didn't have no set marker. This is all I'm gonna spend on her. Nah, okay, we having fun, we doing our thing. What else can I get out of you besides, this? Can we perhaps meet up later on? Not to bump or nothing, but hey, I'm interested in you. You interested in me? Let's be more organic with this. No. Now, okay, yeah, it's all transactional. And that's what put it in trick hole dynamics anyway. And once you get there, you can't get out of that, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. I did want to respond to John Blunt again in the comments. Like, John Blunt, I pray that you unplug from the whatever red pill podcasts and things like that you are listening to, because they've really got your mind in a place that it shouldn't be. And it's very weird when you say like there are no benefits to marrying a woman in 2024, whatever the case may be. There's no benefits in marrying a man like you either. So I don't know what we're talking about. There's no benefits in marrying a man or even being associated with a man that has the thought processes that you have. And I think that y'all don't understand that the more you are so open with this type of thought process and saying these things, the more and more you're turning off the average everyday woman from wanting to engage with men. And what is going to happen is it's going to degrade to the only people that you're going to be able to have access to are women. What can I say on TikTok? Ladies of the night, women that you have to pay for, that there is a agreed upon price before you even show up. Hey, yeah, you can come over here. It's $150 per hour, per 30 minutes, in call, out call. That's exactly what's going to be going on. The more and more y'all push normal women, away with this type of crazy things, because I think what happens is that men, I really do feel like you overestimate your importance to women and your importance to society. Women that are single live longer than women that are married. That is a fact. You know what I'm saying? And you have to understand that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Nobody talks about finding a man, is a good move to make, because women multiply whatever men give them and they add so much. And you can agree with that or not, but it's just the truth. So what you don't understand is that the more and more the women that you push away, and then you say all these crazy things, y'all say these things online, women see it, y'all do this in real life. When you approach women, y'all turn all these women off, and it's going around. You have all of these women in all these different countries that are becoming disgusted with men. They say that male loneliness is an all-time high. Men aren't able to date women. There are so many studies being done on it because women just don't want to. I think that a lot of the whole thing that used to be back in like my grandmother's day or something like that, or even my mother's day, where women felt like their whole worth was wrapped up in having a man. Like, why you don't got a man? Where your husband at? women are unpacking from that thought process and that philosophy. So the more women that feel like they don't care about the shame or the stigma that comes on without having a man, at the end of the day, the people that are going to be, respectfully asked out are men. Truthfully, because men are the only ones that are going to go insane without the presence of a woman in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That's men. Men are going to be the only ones that are going to go crazy about that, not women. You would never see women that can't have access to men going places and graping men and drugging them and pew pewing a place up because women just have to have a man or have to have the touch of a man. That's not the way women are set up. Even though y'all truly believe that, it's not true. And I think a lot of it is projection, like the projection of, oh, y'all gonna die with a cat, y'all gonna die alone, y'all gonna be so sad. That's y'all project that onto women. It's not the state of women and it's not reality. It's actually y'all's reality, which is the reason why, men are the people that pay for intercourse and pay for interactions with women when they can't have it because they're not that guy. You get what I'm saying? So just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing all the things that you're doing, and just know that I would say I would say in 5 to 10 years, the true harm that the men that are right now saying these things are causing, y'all are going to really cause true harm. Like the girls that are coming up, like teens, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls that I've talked to, they say, oh, I think when I grow up, I'm not going to talk to guys at all. These are not girls that are saying they're going to be lesbians. They're just saying they're not going to have any interactions with men because they find them disgusting, but they're not gay. Or all the other women that are in their 20s now that say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to hang out with my girls. I'm just going to do this and the third. Or the women in their 30s or 40s or whatever. And that to me is something that men should be concerned with. Because at the end of the day, these things are happening all over the world with women. And at the end of the day, the people that are really, really need the presence of that opposite sex, that different energy are men. And for the life of me, y'all are not going to understand that until it really happens. And I'd say probably like another 5 to 10 years, 10 years being I feel like the optimal time will be when you realize the damage that you have really done when the majority of men, unless you are like top tier, like super handsome, where a woman can look at your profile and be like, oh my God, like that man is just, I have to have him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of the ladies know like a
I
Trevante
mean,
Rhodes or Idris
let's
Elba.
keep it honest. This damage
Just a
was
second.
done on both sides.
Until like there's gonna be like a like I said, like in a top tier man, like a Idris Elba, like a Trevante Rhodes, men that like really look attractive. I'm not talking about just some guy that thinks he's okay. I'm talking about men that the rest of the men is gonna be up for y'all. Truthfully, if you don't already have someone, it's gonna be up. Y'all not gonna be able to get anybody because of all of this. And I don't think enough men stand up and challenge it, not knowing that even if you're a man that has a woman, that hey, cool. But your son may not be able to find someone, or your brother or your nephew. But anyway, I digress. You can go ahead, Rogish, if you have something to say, sir.
Yeah, I said this deterioration has happened on twofold. You know what I'm saying? Both parties engage in ways that are disadvantaged to one another. Again, with it being hyper transactional, that is ultimately the issue. This is why you have the unnecessary back and forth of the gender war. Like the gender war used to actually just be one-sided. It was only just, black women, whoever else they were interacting with, participating. You didn't have black men participating in it. But with the advent of Kevin Samuels, that's exactly what these cats chose to do with this new model and style of engaging and assessing not only just black women, but we're talking relationships, we're talking everything, pretty much everything of how the black manosphere started doing that analysis. People have picked it up on a lot of stuff. So the fact that it's gone transactional, hyper transactional overall for everyone, that's why we have it where it is now. And you're not going to get there's no correction for that. There's no solution for that because it is part of the social fabric deterioration that ain't supposed to be deteriorated. Right, it's actually supposed to be made healthy and maintained. But
I'm going to interject here and say this. It's always been transactional. Men have always used women to their own ends. and what they could get out of them. This isn't anything this isn't any type of new phenomenon. Like you mentioned, like the 2000s, I'm assuming you're maybe in your 50s or late 40s. This has always been transactional. Men have always used women to their own ends, which is why you have men that are in their 50s and 60s say, oh yeah, I ran across a lot of good women. You know, I fumbled my times with them. I was doing this and that and the third, or whatever the case may be. It's always been transactional. The only difference is that women now are leaning into that role of understanding that. And also women are saying, hey, well, you know, if it's always going to be like this, then this is what you got to do for me. Women did not start it. And I noticed that you said, like, in the gender war thing, you were like, it wasn't something that black men were doing. And I'm assuming if you're not saying it's something that black men were doing, you're saying it's something that black women were doing, which isn't true either. You know what I'm saying? The whole foundation of the black community and the interdynamics of black men and black women were based on the disrespect that was meted out to black women at the hands of black men. And that's been for decades upon decades now, openly. So
No, little sister, that's not the fact. That's not the case, because you didn't have black men participating in the gender war in the late '90s. Yet the gender war
so you mean the gender
was full
war
on. Well, excuse me, in the late '80s.
Yeah, okay, so we want to talk about the gender war in the late 80s and the 90s when there were black men making records and songs about black women being 304s and luts and saying that they were only good for what's between their legs and degrading them in every which way, everywhere, saying that they
That was the start of the transactionalism. Yes, that was the start of the toxic transactionalism. Right.
a whole genre and a whole culture in the community of disrespect against the women that were there, that were living and existing beside them and supporting them. So at what point was disrespect that black men have for women that black women were making it transactional? I'm confused. Like when did that turn? When the only gender that has a history of degrading their women to music was started by black men.
Well, what I was speaking of, an element of the gender war of the late '80s, I was a little boy hearing black men ain't shit. Okay, that was so cliche, and that was everywhere, and it was saturated to the degree where you got accustomed to hearing.
Hello, good evening, good evening,
And-
good evening.
Hey,
So
peace.
if you heard that, did you hear that?
Can I let my plane? Can I let my plane? Can I let my plane?
No, you can't, because I don't want any false narratives put here, because I want to make sure that we understand
Cross narratives.
what happened beforehand. Where was the respect for black women? You can watch documentaries on YouTube from the 70s, from the 80s, of black women talking about how they were abused, how
I'm
they
telling
were.
you what I lived, not no documentary. I was there. This was my life in reality. I didn't have to watch it on TV or anything.
I'm telling you my life and my reality and the life and reality of many other black women as well, that have also statistics that have shown that black women have been treated in a way that black women have not directed in reciprocal fashion.
I'm speaking culture, not statistics.
Yes, culture. So what is the culture that was in the 80s and the 90s of them making music and creating a whole genre of music that was built on the degradation and disrespect of the women in their culture? When did black women create an art form that was for the degradation specifically of black men?
No one's talking. There was no art form that was specifically for the degradation of black women. What had happened was that crack bomb had hit our community, and our people started social relating in ways that they never had before. People wasn't calling women
black
bitches.
women do it? How come, even if that was the case, how come black women did not do it? Black women did not
People was not calling women bitches at that time. Okay,
yes,
that was completely new.
Absolutely were.
And then once you get these foreigners who get a hold of certain harsh elements of black culture, where people was doing what they used to call street gospel in a way, and you had people who was in the life putting out those stories when they was interacting with such women. Like, you might not remember the time of the strawberries. You don't remember, you wasn't there at the time to see you see your homie's mama strung out, possibly trying to be a strawberry.
And who strung the homie's mama out? That doesn't make any sense. What you're doing is
it don't make sense to you because you're not listening to me. You're just listening.
No, well, let me say this. What you're doing is, and I don't allow men to do this I don't even allow women to do it. Okay, please don't unmute yourself. I don't allow men to do it. I don't allow women to do it.
I'll
I
mash
don't
out. You
allow
got it.
people. Okay, if you want to go, you can. Because like you're not gonna dominate my life. Like you can get out of here. As I was saying, and I'm just gonna continue for the people that are listening, but I don't allow coddling of men on my live. I don't coddle men, I don't allow women to coddle men, and I don't allow men to coddle men. Now you want to bring up, strawberries, and now I can tell that you're older than me, and okay, cool. But I know what strawberries are. I know about what the hard candy epidemic, because I don't think I can use the C word on here, and all of those things. But when you use those things to try to excuse away the behavior of black men and then try to put it onto black women, when it was the majority of black men in the communities that were doing these acts, that were tearing up the community, it doesn't make any sense to me. When you talk about strawberries and your homie's mother being strung out or whatever, who sold her that to get her strung out? Huh? Like, I'm not saying there weren't any black women that were involved in this, but who was the majority of the perpetrators of these acts? Blade Storm, you typing in all caps saying wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and send your request to get in the box, and you can do that. But if you don't, I'm gonna block you, period, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? If you can't stand on your words, then you got to get out. So anyway, as I was saying, I don't believe in excusing that. When you talk about, all I heard was men ain't nothing and men ain't like you, why do you think that, where did that come from? Do you think that women just started saying that out of nowhere? Or do you think that women started saying that because of the mistreatment and abuse that they were suffering at the hands of men, especially with black women, which is easily documented, of the abuse and the numbers of crime, violence, abuse, trafficking, all of these things that black women were experiencing at that time. So it's like, I'm not into making excuses. Like black women just started saying, hey, men ain't no good out of nowhere, when there are a million songs about how black women are only good for one thing. Where is the genre of music that black women curated and created for the abuse and degradation of black men? Where? And does it exist to this very day? Where? No? Oh, okay. So it's just like, I'm not here for the BS at all. And I don't believe in coddling men and making excuses and making it like women started this whole chain of behavior, because any other day y'all want to say that y'all are leaders, y'all are in control, y'all are in charge, y'all make the moves and the decisions. But then when it comes to taking accountability for things that went wrong in the black community, then all of a sudden it's the woman's fault. Now all of a sudden you're not a leader. Now all of a sudden you don't know what's going on. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, period. And using, like I said, the drug, the hard candy epidemic as a reason for this gender war is lunacy. It's insane. Man with a Plan says black women are 47% single moms compared to Asians, who are only 8%. Why? Well, let's see. First of all, the most single mothers here in the States are white women, but black women are single mothers because of a lot of hosts of different factors. Why don't you, if you care about Asian women, why don't you find out why Asian women don't want to have children anymore by the men in their community? They don't even want to engage at all with Asian men. They don't want to have intercourse. They don't want to be married with them. They don't want to be associated with them or touch them in any way. So can you tell me why that is? You answer that question first, man with a plan. Why is it that Asian women are disgusted with the men in their community and don't want to touch them, and have started a whole movement because they're so grossed out by the men in their community? Tell me about that. Huh? I just explain that to me. Why there are so many different Chinese, Koreans, Japanese, why they are disgusted with the men in their community and their birth rates are going down because they don't want to have any dealings with them. Explain that to me first, and then I'll talk to you. But just explain that first though. Yeah, they are. So explain that first. Oh, now all you got to say is they aren't. They are. So
My ex is Chinese, and she literally will not date someone else that's Chinese, and she was raised in America. It's true. Like, I mean, it's a general consensus, and I just say that
date out the most. Asian women date out the most in America. Like, they're one of the highest demographics of women that date interracially. So ask why your women don't desire you. I don't understand that. Like, it's very, very strange behavior. Like, So I don't know what you thought. Let's see
Yeah.
here. But I'm gonna block you though for that stupid question. So enjoy your block life. Go ahead, Remy.
Hi, how y'all doing? I saw
Hey.
somebody ask the question, what's a 6B movement? It's I'll put it like this if I can turn my fan off real quick. It's basically different levels to from the 4B to the 6B. I think there's more than that. I only caught a whiff of 6B, which is have no communication. I guess it's like some type of conversation with them, bottom line of it all. Because if anything, it's gotten bad to the point that, they even asking men from our side of the country, especially black men, to do it to their women so they can have babies. It's that bad.
Okay, could you say the last thing that you said, Remy, please?
Hold on. All right. I don't know what part of Asia, but however, like I said, they are asking black men from the western country, over here in America, to have intercourse with their women
Okay,
so they
yeah.
can have babies.
Yeah, they said they debunked that. They said that wasn't true. They said they didn't want black men to come. They said
Are you
that, yeah.
sure?
Yeah, that was proven to be false. Yeah. Just like
Well,
Layla said in the comments down below, it was proven to be a false
that was
story.
proven to be false. Thank
Yeah.
God, because I
Yeah,
don't
no.
think y'all want that.
No, I highly doubt if they were going to choose. I think in a lot of Asian countries, they tend to prize a lot of, they've also been touched by a lot of white supremacy. I think if they were
Yeah.
going to do that, they would ask for the white T-man to come. It definitely wouldn't be black people, that's for sure. It would never be black people. Unfortunately, it would be not unfortunately, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be black people.
Why would they want black men? I honestly do not. um, don't ask me. I wouldn't know. I was a little behooved my damn self. You feel me? Like,
Okay.
yeah. Y'all, if anything, y'all basically the men. Y'all want to be the colonizer junior so bad. And whoever get a little hurt about that, I really don't care, because at the end of the day, it's true.
All right, Remy. Okay, I'm gonna go up here to it's Leaf. Hold on, I can't see who's this person?
Just leave. Leaf is fine.
Okay. Go ahead, Leaf.
No, I had just scrolled in and I seen I saw the prompt and then I actually listened to what you were saying and I said to myself, this young lady is correct. Most of the scenarios that you were talking about, in terms of the women those Asian women and how they're not attracted to their own, that's very true. And it's been that way for quite a while. That's really not anything new. And the other thing you mentioned before that, you were talking about, you had said something. I'm going back up for a second. You had said something that kind of triggered me too. Oh, goodness gracious. But you were touching on basically that we can't continue to allow men to think that because we are strong, that allows us to be like floor mats. And what has happened is in these different cultures, like the Asian women, they start to actually, reach outside of their boundaries to procreate to it's actually a genetic, I don't know, it's like a genetic genocide. And I don't really know how to unpack that other than to say that the women there don't want to continue to be oppressed by the men who are there. They don't want to continue that oppression. And so you're absolutely correct. I wish that there is a link that people can go to. But nevertheless, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I just wanted to kind of touch on that because you were saying some things that are not just concepts. You were saying some things that have been documented in history as you were making these parables.
Yeah, thank you for that, Miss Leaf. I think the guy that was up here, earlier, I don't know if you were here when you saw him, the roguish guy, he gave me some red flags when he said that he used to be like a former, I guess red pill, whatever person that was into that type of stuff. I find it I don't believe that men that go into that type of ideology, I don't believe it's very easy for them to unpack it and to totally divorce it from their mentality, the way they think. I really think it's pretty much ingrained no matter what. But when he just attempted to try to place men or in a place of victimization, that women were, doing these things to disrespect them and oppress them and all of this other stuff, is that's where I draw the line. Like, there's no place on the world that you can go to where
Oh,
any
yeah.
women are
I know what it
oppressing
was. Right. I know what it was that you had made
you.
a example of. You had talked about the music being degrading in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Just like you kind of led with the conversation with that as an example. And I said to myself, well, what she's saying is correct, because it's a byproduct. It's a byproduct of what the gentleman was describing about the crack epidemic. And what happened was in between,
Hard candy, baby. Hard candy.
oh, I'm sorry, hard candy. So in between the candy and the music, there was folks coming in from the war, vets, families being pieced back together, men who had a house with a family up the street, 2 blocks from another family down the street. And what happened was that economics played a part, money played a part, right? Now, black people did very well in the 80s. We did very, very well. Part of that was capitalizing off of what the white man wanted to hear. They wanted to take that rock and roll further. They wanted it to be more degrading. They wanted them white kids in the suburbs to shake their. They wanted the money. So black men, MC Hammer, all of them, everybody, pretty much everyone went mainstream, except, like NWA, all the, and those real hip hop kind of people. But you're absolutely right that the degradation of black women has funded so much bullshit. We have paid for and continue to pay for our own degradation when it comes to that.
Okay, all right.
And black, do you see what I'm saying? And so that's that kind of what triggered me, is that you are correct, and in fact he is too. So they played a part because of how money, because of capitalism. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, let me go up here to big pick thinking, because you were saying some things in the comments, but I wasn't quite for sure what you meant. I think you were saying that the same red pill stuff about women having inherent value and men having to create value, and I guess women always wanting bigger and better. Is that what you were saying?
When you say red pill, are you saying that because it's red pill, it's not true? Or are you disagreeing with the statement, or are you just like poking a jab?
I'm not poking a jab at anything. I'm just speaking factually and logically.
So,
Anybody that is believing in red pill philosophy is mentally unstable. Period. And they're
okay.
also unintelligent. It's
Well,
just
first of all, I don't believe in red pill philosophy or any of that stuff. But the comment that I made was women have inherent value, what she looked like. Men have to create value, what he do. Forget red pill, forget all that nonsense, and just objectively, like, do you see the world as it is? And can you say, I could see how people may agree with that statement, regardless of its.
I think that the value depends on who's putting the value on it. You can see people that maybe by society standards may be viewed as unattractive, but they may be able to find someone that sees the worth or value in them. There are men that are looked at as extremely attractive. They were from birth attractive. There's nothing that they had to do. They just were born as attractive. And therefore, because of that, they were wanted by women. that the whole woman being the value, their only value is what she looks like, is completely inaccurate, and it's erroneous, and it's only rooted in trying to get men that are unattractive or undesirable to feel like they have some type of one up on women if they are not the woman they desire. So if they get a couple of dollars or something like that, they'll be able to be on the same level as women that they previously may have desired and have been denied by. I think that all of these concepts could be applied to either gender. There are plenty of men that are good looking and get a lot of things from women just because of that. They might not even have any money. They might not have any education. They might not have any status. They might just have that value. So that inherent value that doesn't apply to anybody, because value is based on whoever's looking at it. It's just that simple. Somebody can see you and say, "Oh, I see the worth in that guy," and then somebody may not. And at the end of the day, if we're talking about interpersonal relationships or marriages or dating or whatever, you only have to convince one person of your worth and your value. That's it. One. You have to convince one person that you're worth something. So at the end of the day, this whole inherent value is just a whole bunch of BS, and it's a crock of BS, just to once again to put women down and make them feel less than, and probably make them to have their self-esteem so low that they'd be willing to give men that previously wouldn't have had a shot at a chance in hell.
How else will they be able to capitalize off of us? Because it starts
it's
with
all
our
that
thinking that
exploitation
has to
to me.
be rewired. How else would they be able to make money off of us? How else? How else would if a man can't
I got a last
transform our thinking?
did you want to respond, Big Pick?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm like, in terms of like the reality that we live in, you're not wrong, but like I'm looking at it more like, if you have two groups of men, one is the average guy, and the other group are the athletes, the entertainers, the drug dealers, the scammers. Who do you think has the most success with women? Is it these highly successful men, or is it just the average guy? Like this whole concept of hypergamy, is that a real thing?
Okay, I think that men that have money, that does not necessarily mean that you will be successful with women. You may be able to find women that are willing to take advantage of you, or willing to stomach you or tolerate you in order to have a lifestyle. Absolutely. You may find women that are willing to do that, but that doesn't translate into a real situation. So when you say, do they have success, what metric are we measuring it by? Because if you're a millionaire or you're a billionaire and you're with a woman who the only reason why she's there is because you have some money, and if anything happens to you, your ability to give her money, your ability to provide her with a lifestyle, or you pass away and she doesn't give two craps about it, how successful are you? How well are you doing? I can't necessarily agree with that. Like, you get what
Man,
I'm saying?
man,
I have to let the guy respond back.
because I got something for it.
Go ahead, Big Pick Thinking.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, like, you're not wrong. But if a woman wants me and desires me for my money, and I want and desire her based on her physical attraction, like, who's the shallow one? Like, it
Both
sounds
of you
like an
guys are the
equitable
shallow
exchange of
ones.
value.
Yes, both of you guys are the shallow ones. That's what it is. Why would any logical, rational, thinking person want to base a relationship on money or on looks? That's insane, and it's not reasonable, and it's not sustainable. That type of relationship will never go the long haul. So if you want to do that, I don't understand why you wouldn't just go
Right.
and mess with high price escorts. Like, why that wouldn't be something that you do. Like, as opposed to, so nobody is the winner in that situation. Nobody. So like I said, red pill and all of these philosophies are all built on faulty reasoning and stupid rhetoric and stupid philosophies, and none of it is rooted in somebody maintaining a long-term partnership. None of it is. A girl that's 20 that's getting with some old dude, it's not going to last. It's not going to work out. It's not going to be there. And eventually he's going to be the one that's sad, because once he's super old and crusty and she's gone and spending up his money and having intercourse with the pool boy, he's going to be sad. And it's not going to be a joke anymore. He's going to be depressed and he's going to feel worthless and unworthy. So or this girl that gets with this guy that she cannot stomach, she doesn't like, and now she's in her 40s and she realizes that, wow, I wasted all my time with this person for some money, and now she feels like, oh wow, now I messed up, I made all these mistakes. Like all of this stuff that Red Pill says, looks this, looks that, money this, money that, or telling men that, oh, all you have to do is get this value. And we're talking about that men are going to get this value on what they create and what they do. The reality is that what Red Pill says, the majority of men will never be able to do, ever. They will never be able to get the money. They will never be able to get the resources. They will never be able to have any of these things that will attract the women that they say that to when they create this value. Because most men never achieve those things. Statistically, never. It's a very small percentage of men that do that, which is why I said that these thought processes are very unhealthy, because they allow men to live in a false reality. They don't tell men the majority of you guys will never be able to do it. Never. So at what point do you look up and you're like 40, you're like, wow, I still don't have this money. I don't have enough money to get these girls that I really think are hot. No, and you never will. You get what I'm saying? So all of it is rooted in stupidity and insanity, and it's not rational to listen to it at all. All it sets people up is for the okie doke and to be disappointed later on in life when you're too old to do anything about it. You get what I'm saying? Statistically, most men will never get the money that it takes to get these women that they're talking about.
You know what? Like you're spitting facts. I can't disagree with you, but on the other side of the coin, you have, just like you have men who have this concept that if I work on myself and I focus on, being a productive individual, if I go to the gym, that I'll have a greater success, work on my character with women. I mean, that red pill ideology,
that's not red pill ideology.
Well, that's what they're saying. Like I've been in those podcasts, and I can somewhat agree with the fact that if you stop focusing on women and you start focusing on building yourself, you can then, once you've reached the pinnacle of success, now with them, they say once you become successful, then you can have your hoe phase. But I don't agree with that. But I can sort of as a man say, hey, you know what? He's not wrong there. Like you can take the good and the bad. You can eat the meat and spit out the bones. It's no different than when women say they want a guy who's 6 feet, that makes 6 figures, that, you know what I mean? Like you'll never have that man. Only 1 in 4 women will marry. You know what I mean? Like, let's be realistic. Same side of the coin. You know what I mean?
But you can't speak for all women, though.
If you put your effort into working out or bettering yourself, but most importantly, you put your effort into bettering your character, not looking to make a certain dollar amount of money or not looking to be successful in the corporate world or whatever, everything else will come. You will attract a woman that is of good character if you are of good character. And
that's red pill.
That's not red pill. The majority of red pill creators don't even speak like that. They say that high value, they don't even talk about character. All they speak about are material things. I very rarely hear any men speak about character of a man deeply. Like, how are you? How do you treat women?
But see, you're asking about, okay. But see what it sounds.
Are you respectful? Are you nice? Are you kind? Are you considerate? All of those things are things that men should strive to do that they're not programmed to do. And as far as women go, when you said like women wanting a man that's 6 foot, I don't know why 6 foot is such a big deal that men have such a problem with. We're talking about statistically, most relationships, 90% plus of relationships with men and women, heterosexual ones, the man is taller, period. That is how it generally goes. Now, I would say most women are not with the man because the average height of a woman, if I'm not mistaken, is 5'4" to 5'5". So most women are with a man that is taller. Most women don't have to have a man that is 6 foot. They have to have a man that is taller than them. And also men prefer it that way. Now, somebody like me, I'm 5'11". My husband is over 6 foot. Why? Because I'm super tall. So why would I want to be with a man that I am towering over. But I think most of the time, like all of these things that people put on women, I think a lot of times women are able and willing to overlook a lot of different things in order to have partnership. So I think that the more that men focus on their character and how they are, their loyalty, how they treat women, how they respect women, they won't have any problems finding women. They won't have to go to the moon and make a bajillion dollars. I don't even think most women are even expecting that of men. I think that's something that men are putting on other men, and it's also unrealistic because, like I said, statistically, most men will never, ever, ever make six figures. That's a fact. So it's like, don't put those things on yourself because most likely you'll never get that. And I don't think most women are looking for a man that is what you said. I don't think that.
The
I think
same height or taller, the same income or higher.
yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman wanting a man that makes the same amount of money as her. Like, why would you want a man that's making less than? I don't think that is a bad, expectation. I do think that if you're looking for a man that's a bajillionaire, the likelihood of you getting that, now that's unreasonable. But you want a man that makes the same amount as you, why is that a problem? And why is it a problem to want a man that's taller than you? I don't see where the problem comes with either of those things. I don't know. I don't see it.
I don't know either because somebody say I was confused. Women are required men to make money to provide for. I mean, back in the days, before I was born, probably the host was born. I don't know how old everybody is, but women back in the days didn't have their own banking accounts until they do. But at the end of the day, now they get to choose what they want to choose at this time. Either we're going to choose the person with the money, with the messed up mindset, and all that other stuff that comes with it to settle for what they have, or just suffer for it.
If the qualification, if the minimum requirement,
big. Hold on, was it done?
Baltimore
I
just
never
came
cut
out.
you. Yeah, but yeah. As far as that, if I was in that predicament, speaking for myself, because I hate when people talk about women this that. As far as in general, no, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not settling for nobody who got messed up mindset. And I don't care if you got six figures or anything of that nature. I really don't care. I'd rather freaking work for my own stuff or just suffer to work for my own stuff.
I think most women feel that way, Remy. I did want to respond to DT, and then I'm going to let Big Thinking respond to you. DT, who said you're confused, women require men to make enough money to provide for them. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. That is not true. I can't speak for other races of women, but all I know is that Black women are the most employed race of women. And Black women are either the breadwinners in most of their households, even where there's a man present, or a co-breadwinner. So Black women are not expecting or requiring men to make enough money to provide for everything. And I think right now in society and the way, the economy is going, that it is more likely that both trip parties will be contributing to the bills or doing something. Like, now there may be people that are in a small percentage where their spouses do handle everything, but the most part, I would say people expect they have to both contribute something. So I don't know where you're getting that from, but it's not true.
He was responding to my comment. Basically, I had to scroll back up. Hold on. I was saying about hold on. I gotta scroll back up. I said because most women will settle for less just to get a bag. And there was more I wanted to say because I can't put too much in the text, in the comments. But yeah, he tried to check me in the comments. That's
that DC person?
Yeah.
I think he's mad probably about Shira 7 or something because he's over there talking about hypergamy. Like, there are women that are hypergamous and there are a lot of women that aren't hypergamous. So and RMV, I don't know. I sent you a request. What are you talking about? Misinformation. I didn't say anything that was bad information. It can all be fact checked. Fact check me. Go look it up. What are you talking about? Seriously. So RMV, and I think I've had like issues with you. If I'm not mistaken, I think that, but before I'm gonna hold my tongue until I know for sure if you're the person, but I think you're the person that I've had issues with, but I'm on my backup page. So yeah. But like I said, I encourage you. Thank you, Candy Cane. I encourage anybody to fact check me. I don't say anything that I haven't already looked up and researched myself. That's probably the difference between me and your favorite TikToker, that I actually researched this that comes out of my mouth. But anyway, yeah, R&B, you still haven't said anything, in response to what you said that I misinformation. I just want to know if you're talking to me because I think that you're somebody that I've had an issue with. But yeah, I sent you a request just in case, but I'm pretty for sure it's you. Go ahead, big pic thinking. If you have something to respond.
Yeah, I think that your perspective is genuine, it's authentic, it's based in reality. That I think when you find your person, it won't matter how tall they are, what job they have. That's true. But, they're just looking out in the world. There's an observation that I noticed, and there's a show. It's an episode called Mythbusters, where they took 50 women from different races and they split them in groups of 25, and they took 10 pictures of men. And they said, women, rate these men based on their attractiveness. And the same guy ranked the lowest was a server. When they changed his occupation, height, and income, he ranked the highest in a group of women. So the point I'm trying to make is attractiveness for women is not always physical. It's based on height, occupation, and income. And when they did the same thing with men, well, I'm just saying, when they did the same thing with men, they chose the same woman regardless of any of that. None of that shit mattered. It was just based on, I think she's pretty. Yeah. And that's
the
different.
Same thing. Like, what are we saying? It's like men and women may be slightly different, but it's still the same thing. If you're choosing somebody on what they look like on the outside, and y'all are all choosing this person, and you think that they're attractive, and that's who you want, what's the difference? I don't understand how that's a big deal.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm saying that they took the same 10 men, right? And the one guy that ranked the lowest, his occupation was a server. Okay, they took that same guy. The point it's on Mythbusters, the episode of Mythbusters.
Oh, so you mean on a scripted TV show?
It's a scripted TV show based in scientific observation. The same guy, when they changed his occupation to the other group of women, he rated the most attractive when they made him a neurosurgeon with a $500,000 income.
Then maybe some women care about a career the same way some men care about boobs. I don't understand what you're saying here. What's the difference? You care about boobs or a woman caring about a job?
Is it fair to say that if men, it's based on physical attraction, for women, it's based on, I don't know, desire to be taken care of?
I think that there are some women that care about that, and there are some women that don't. I think there are some women that really care about looks a lot, and then there are some women that care about looks and money. Some women feel like they want to get with a man that I don't understand what like where you're going with it.
Where I'm going with this is, what would you say the majority, not that we know some like this and some like chocolate, some like vanilla. What would you say the majority, not talking about ice cream, fall under in terms of that perspective?
I think all I can speak is for me. I personally don't want a man that's broke, and I don't want a man that's ugly. And when I was looking for a man, they were of equal importance, which is why you said that the women liked the man when they changed his height, which is linked to looks and attractiveness, and also his profession. I think most women weigh it both, because at the end of the day, nobody wants a man that's a provider that is ugly and disgusting looking. Nobody wants that either. So I think the difference between men and women is that men may just only put a factor or a focus on looks only, and women may put a factor or a focus on looks and the profession and the money being made. That's the difference.
I think it deviates a little bit there, and I just wanted to.
That you could say that because you're not a woman.
Well, I know, which is fair, and that's why I'm just only speaking on my own perspective as a guy, and at least like in specific situations, especially just being like a lot younger, a lot of guys are always just charged based off of the physicality of things. Like typically, I would state that there's a lot more guys pursuing women than women pursuing guys, and I just say we're just very we're thirsty. I guess is just the best way to say it. So that's where I wanted to bring up and introduce, like, I think like, you know, it's not a competition to me. And I am a former red pillar. But when it does come to the situation, I think, you know, it's very important to look at dating strategies in between the two sexes, because they're going to have two different outcomes. I can't get pregnant and have a child. You know, I basically cannot do that. So the expectations are without a doubt different.
Okay, what do you think the difference is in expectations? Because you said that, Tino, you said that the difference in expectations will cause a different outcome. Is that what you were saying?
I think men, without a doubt, definitely do need better expectations on what their ideal relationship looks like. It shouldn't solely be based off of the physical aspect. However, because of the fact that we have media nowadays, you know, I was gooning when I was like 12 years old. There's an almost like an unlimited supply of like pornography, if you think about it. Like, because of that, you know, children are more schmexualized than they've ever been. You have Tinder, you have a bunch of mediums to actually goon. And I think that's gross. I think that's a part of the problem that not really a lot of people talk about. And so, like, I'm just saying, like, with women, I think you guys are doing, you know, what is necessary for your own survival and your own benefit. And I respect that. However, I think that there can be some common grounds where we can all shake hands and, you know, continue to coexist on this planet.
I don't know what you mean. Like, women are doing what is for their benefit.
I just say that in the respects of, for example, not all women can walk the Chicago streets at night and not worry for her life. You know, if I had a daughter, I would be concerned for her walking by herself. And even I'm afraid of other men. And I just say that I just wish men weren't the way that they were. Yeah, sadly. And it's going to take a lot to change. It's going to take a lot.
So my thing is to Big Pick. You don't think us women don't see y'all as human beings, even though we wasn't looked at as much as black people as a whole?
I wouldn't say that. I just say, like, you know, coexistence as an intersectionality is something that I always promote. I always just say that, yes, I am not a woman, but I can look at the person that's next to me and I can just say, hey, you know what? I hear what you're going through, and I will do what I can in my sphere to help you, to advance you, to lift you up, because obviously it's a hierarchical society. We can't deny that. It is a hierarchy. I'm not the president. I can't change laws.
I'm grateful for your point of view, but I was definitely talking to Big Pig.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I think some women objectify men, and I think some men objectify women based on looks. I think women, it's all about, I think the minimum qualification is that you must be the same height or taller, you must have the same income or higher. And then there's this whole, like, I don't want to go 50-50. If I find a man, he needs to pay all the bills. I'm like, you were taking care of yourself when you started. Like, there's these two.
Yes. If I can take care of all my bills alone, why would I get in a relationship with a man and still pay 50-50? Why would I do that when there's so much more that is involved in having a husband there? There's added labor, there's added expenses, there's added a lot of extra things. What exactly would be the motivating factor for me to get with a man and I'm going half and half when I could just pay my own and have more peace of mind and not have the responsibility of dealing with the man present? What exactly would he be bringing to my life to add to it that would make that worth it? That's something that I think a lot of men don't understand, that they overestimate their importance. They don't have enough personality. They don't have the looks. They don't have the character to where even a woman would even want to pay 50-50 to be with that man and have him in her life. That would be the thing. You would have to figure out what of value you could bring to that woman to make her feel comfortable in doing that. If more men would focus on their personalities and who they are, then maybe more women would be willing to do that, because it's just like what you said about feminists and bitter feminists and all this other stuff. It's all foolishness, because it's just kind of like, why are there feminists? Why are there women that advocate for women's rights? I sometimes don't even think y'all realize the definition of feminism. All it is women's rights. So what about women advocating for women's rights would make you think they're bitter. And once again, why is this even a thing? Why do women even have to fight for rights? I tell women that are in America all the time, you have it the easiest here. In other countries, women have it absolutely horrible. They're being raped, they're being stoned, they're being beaten. You know, in Afghanistan, the women can't even speak outside. They have to be completely covered up from head to toe because of men. So a lot of things are going on everywhere. So at what point would you feel like feminism is not needed? You get what I'm saying? That's how I know that you guys that are up here talking about y'all former red pillars or y'all used to listen to this, y'all still feel that way now. And I personally don't think, just like I don't think a PDF file can be redeemed. I don't think that people that do that with children are ever redeemable. They cannot be, rehabilitated. They cannot be fixed. They will always be that type of person. And the best, treatment for them would be for them to be 6 feet under. Respectfully, I think not, of course, not that somebody that is in red pill should have that type of harsh treatment, but I do think that y'all cannot be reformed or rehabilitated either. I think the men that respect women as human beings and care about them and look at them as actual human beings with emotions and thoughts and feelings, just like they give that grace to men, I believe that you have already had that mentality and you would have never been attracted to that type of content. So like you tell me that I already know that you live in delusion. And
Can I ask you a question really quick? Is
yeah.
like are you open-minded enough to like consider that some stuff can be true and some stuff can be trash? Like have you ever, like, just for example, Martin Luther King, great civil rights activist, but I heard he was a womanizer. You know what I mean? Like, can we like still go on this is valid and true, but this I don't agree with?
Martin Luther King being a womanizer have to do with his message? It has nothing to do with it. I didn't attack the character of any of the red pill people. What I said was their ideology, their rhetoric is stupid and it's unhealthy. And any man that's drawn to it is already a man that should be in the reject pile if you are a woman.
I can listen to red pill, I can listen to feminists, and I can say, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
Only one did you call bitter. You didn't mention anything negative pertaining to red pill. However, you did use terminology bitter feminist. So that lets me know your standpoint right there. You only used negative adjectives when it came to one, and it was feminism. So
there are some feminists that absolutely,
and not only that,
there's some that absolutely hate men, like to
not
their
only
core.
that, not only that, big
that
pick, every time you talk.
What does that, once again, what does that have to do with the message? Just like how you tried to attack Martin Luther King's character and say, he was a womanizer, he was this or that. It doesn't matter what he did in his private time. We're talking about his message and his ideology and his rhetoric. So regardless of how these women truly feel about men, which they may have a right to feel that way, seeing as though men oppress women all over the globe, what I'm saying is attack their actual ideology. There aren't any women, any feminist women going anywhere and dragging men out in the back of some field and stoning them to unaliving, out there drugging men, roofing men and raping them, or taking them somewhere because they see them and they want to do something with them, doing it with them, and then
there are women that exploit men financially, that take advantage of their kindness. There are women that will, like, come on.
That's their fault. They should have chosen better.
Toxic behavior is not gender specific.
The same way you tell women, when women go get with the man that has lied to them, misrepresented himself, and he's had intercourse with her and he doesn't call her anymore, or she's made a single mother, y'all tell those women that they're completely responsible for the actions that this other person has enacted on them. You say, hey, you should have chosen better. You should have done better. You should have known this or that. I don't believe in giving men the grace that is not given women. So if a man is being taken up financially, that's his own fault. More than likely, if a man is being taken advantage of financially by a woman, it's because he knows that he wouldn't have access to that woman if he wasn't giving up the funds. So what he needs to do is step his game up so that he can get a woman that's willing to stomach him without expecting a payday. And it's really just that simple. But like I said earlier, you all have already exposed yourself on what you really believe, because you only referred to one of these ideologies as negative, and it was feminism. And feminism is rooted in a need to have rights and a need to be seen as a human being, when red pill is rooted in men oppressing women when they're already doing it and they have already done it since the beginning of time. But let me keep going. Tino, you had something to say?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I was just gonna add, like again, that's I also come from like red pill, and mind you not, I'm 27 now. Primarily during the pandemic is when I saw this very interesting YouTube video. Me and my friends were like, "Bro, this guy is crazy," and his name is Mr. Samuels. I'm sure everybody knows him. And we found it very interesting, and if anything, it motivated me to work harder. But I didn't really realize, the ability to discern in between, anecdotal information
Hey
from other
Tino,
people.
I'm sorry. I just want to interject. I wanted to ask you a question. This is
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah.
Do you said, what did you say you rated yourself earlier? Didn't you say you rated yourself a 9?
I would say like an 8.5.
Okay, yeah.
I'm definitely not a 9. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you said 8.5 and you said or 9. I remember you saying 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to your page and that how do I say this?
It's not what I rated myself. It's
Yeah,
just what I've
yeah.
heard from other people. Yeah.
I
I have proof. I mean, why are we going here? Oh yeah, that's fine. Why are we going here? Oh yeah, that's fine. I don't. This is crazy. I feel like I'm getting like publicly displayed. Like, hey, look at this dude. I'm crying. Yeah, I actually got it from Reddit. They have this Reddit forum basically just saying, oh yeah, like judge this person, and I also used it for I guess like trying to find pictures for my dating profile, and yeah, people just gave me the score. So yeah.
sorry you guys about that. My phone died. Sorry, I had to put it on the charger. Yeah, what I was asking Tino is I asked you about your rating, because I when you said 9, I didn't have a chance to go click on your profile, and because I normally, when men say things like that and they kind of give me red pill vibes, I go and I check because I just because I want to get a post to, because I really do feel that men that are attracted to red pill philosophy are wholeheartedly delusional and they don't live in reality. And so when I went to your page and I was like, oh wow, he's not a 9, he's not an 8, he's not a 7 at all, by any stretch. I was just like, wow, this is exactly what I'm saying, because I'm in a point of writing a book about red pill and the effect that it has had on the psyches of young men. And that's all I wanted to say, is that I think that red pill allows men to become comfortable in a state of delusion. They have other men tell them about their desirability and what to expect out of women, and that they're going to be these desirable men when they get to be this age, or that women don't have any value, and that men indeed are the ones with the true value. All the while never having any women to validate those type of thoughts. And if indeed, most of the men that are in red pill are heterosexual men, you would need the co-signing of women to say that. And I struggle with, I really am so wholeheartedly against it, because I do believe it's ruining society. I do believe that men that are, because I think you said you were like 19 or 20 or something. I think that men that
27.
20, oh, you're 27. Somebody else must have came up here that was 19. I think that it's ruining the reality of men, and that in about 10 years or so, it'd be very evident on how much red pill has ruined the dynamics between men and women. It's already ruining it now, but it's going to ruin it even further. And I think that the men that are coming up, or young men, 16, 17, 18, 19, in 10 years when they're 27, 28, 29, they're going to be alone. And the society is just going to be completely destroyed. I really do believe that. And I just think it's good to point out things like that, because I do believe that red pill does give men that are generally undesirable, or maybe not the guys that women are really into, have a place to feel wanted. And it's a false sense of inclusion, because the people that you really want to be included by are not in these spaces. Because men that are really desirable, men that really have it going on, men that really get women or attract women, men that don't have to do anything but say hello for a woman to be interested, those men are never, ever in these spaces. I would say 9 times out of 10, you'll never see an extremely attractive man coming up and say, hey, yeah, I'm red pill. I do this and that and the third, because they don't have to, So I think it's good to think about those things.
They're giving them the blueprint on how to become successful.
No, they're not, because none of those guys are successful. The only people that are successful are the guys that are selling the red pill delusion to you.
They're telling
Because
them,
they're
hey,
making
this is how
money.
you gotta-
They're making money off of your delusion. So they're telling you, like somebody like Fresh and Fit saying, hey, you got to do this and treat women this way and that way, as he's been exposed for paying for vajayjay. Or as he sits there alone by himself, or with women that can't stomach him. Like these are what I'm trying to tell you, that those are the men that are becoming successful in red pill, absolutely. But they're taking from the men that are and selling the men that are listening a dream that will never be realized. And the sooner y'all realize that, the better.
Well, I'm echoing on your side, host. Your mic might be covered. The bottom.
He just saying, oh, somebody echoing.
Okay. So, am I echoing on my side? Go ahead, guys. You can talk real quick.
Am I echoing?
Sound like both of them are echoing.
Now we should be fine. Nope.
I didn't hear any echoing, so maybe it's I don't know.
Am I echoing?
Okay.
Well, I'll respond real quick, and I'll
and
just turn down my volume, so it's not as bad. If you can hear it clearly, I guess, my main interpretation, I guess, of going by number systems, that's not something that's necessarily accurate. I don't really prescribe to it. I was saying it for giggles. But when it does come to pedestalizing women, their validation, I can completely agree with. Oh, my echo's bad. Okay, I'm just going to come back.
Hold on, I wasn't tripping.
Do you guys hear the echo now?
I hear the echo on my end now.
Okay. Well, what I will do is the only thing I think I can I'll scroll. Can you guys is it still echoing? I closed out of the live and came back on. Hopefully y'all can hear now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, cool. So there's no echo.
There's no echo. That was weird.
Yeah. But as I was saying, like, again, this isn't my own, my own basis of what I would rate myself. And I actually have been having a lot of good luck on dating apps. Like it's been great. And I say that in, the respects of just personally improving myself, like skincare routine, and actually taking care of my dental health, and, just really doing the basics, like human stuff. Like I said earlier, it's not that hard to be attractive. The rating system's obviously flawed. However, like, I agree with you. There are a lot of delusional aspects with people. I would never deny, especially, the fact that with Red Pill, it sells you a dream. It sells you an ideology. It sells you something. However, I think, you know, the more important point to raise isn't necessarily about like the motivation for the red pill. It's just more of a social issue. Why are men so supportive on a system of oppression that necessarily does not even benefit them? When it does come to the patriarchal beliefs and the viewpoints, for example, a lot of men are being exploited for OF when they're the primary consumers. Like, ironically, because they don't have this sense of impulse control. And because of the lack of impulse control.
I just want to interject. I don't think that men purchasing OnlyFans is exploitive. I don't think they're being exploited. I think that they're perverts that want to see girls that they would never be able to see otherwise. I refuse to you know, victimize or infantilize perverted young men for spending their money to see girls that they think are hot, that they know they would not have a shot in hell of seeing nude otherwise.
Okay.
Like that's not, they're not being
ask
taken
a question
advantage
on
of.
that.
Well,
Period.
So what's
it's
wrong?
to take
Being taken
advantage of when it comes to the root definition of what exploitation even means. So primarily, I believe it was coined within the 14th to 16th century. And again, it's basically taking advantage of somebody. We can't say that these businesses are here to
No,
benefit
they're not
people.
being taken advantage of either.
No, they
Nobody
are.
went to
They
these
are quite
men.
literally giving.
Nobody went
they're
to these
losing.
men and said, "Hey,
Yes.
you have to sign up here." Like when you have older people and people call and tell them that they owe an IRS debt, and the old people don't know that it's a scammer, and they give them their banking information and all of those type of things. That's being taken advantage of. A young perverted man or an older perverted man that sees some girl that they think is hot, and they know that, wow, you know what, I could never get a chick that hot. So let me go ahead and subscribe here so I can see this girl doing ungodly things, or I can see her nude body.
No, hold on a
Nobody's taking
second.
advantage of that man
It
at
starts.
all.
It
That's
look. It starts
ridiculous.
at there are women on gaming sites, grown ass women that are targeting underage boys and directing them to their OnlyFans, but that's not perceived as predatory. If a man was doing that, like,
Men are in control of all of these different companies and systems in place.
Thank you.
If
Thank
they
you. That's what I'm
truly
saying.
felt
That's what
like,
I
if
was
they
mainly
truly
I'm just
felt like
saying
there was
that
a threat to young men, then what they should do is kick all of those women that are strictly directing young boys, if they're directing underage males to their platform, then that's something different. They need to
Right.
be kicked off. But as far as making men that are 18 and above victims for consuming content with girls in it and girls getting paid, that is
no,
I did
never
that at
going to
12.
fly with me. These men are not
underage
victims.
boys
I was
Period.
doing that at
are
12.
being targeted at an early age. The TikTok algorithm, like, you'll be looking at sports and there'll be some
Who started
girl.
the TikTok algorithm? Who's behind that?
But
Who's in charge?
not even just
Males
that.
are in charge.
But
So at the end of the day,
right.
you
I
need to
said that.
talk to men about exploiting men if
Right.
that's what you think. But
That's
these
what I said,
women are
host.
not exploiting men, period.
Host,
They're
that's what I
not.
said.
These girls are not. And the thing about it is that women have been trafficked. Women have been forced against their own will to engage in sexual behavior. And no one ever talked about the exploitation of women and, oh, how these women are being objectified or taken advantage of. I've never heard men stand up and say, hey, we've got to stop doing this to our women. We've got to stop going to these strip clubs and seeing these girls that are probably have a lot of trauma and have been molested and abused. And we're sitting here taking advantage of their trauma and watching them. Y'all don't care.
I do
Y'all
that,
only
actually.
care when women are making money off of it.
Not necessarily.
These men are not victims.
So
They're
if
crazy to make
let me
them
ask you a question really quick. If Red Pill is telling you become the most successful version of yourself, be the best man you can be, now you can run through these hoes and pay for it like I do. Because at the end of the day, it's cheaper to rent than it is to own.
Then do that. Then do that. Then let the girls do that.
So why do you say, like, these are obviously successful men with bad character, and there are successful men that have good character that don't devalue. Like, I've been married for 25 years, and I don't agree with everything on both sides, feminism and Red Pill, but I don't disagree when they're spitting like the truth.
You
terms
said
of, like,
bitter feminist. You like I said earlier,
Please
and the
don't
fact
misinterpret
that you're
my
married
words,
and you
okay?
hold
Like,
these ideologies is scary.
I
to
chose
me.
the wrong words, and I apologize for that. And your interpretation of those words, I said feminism, just like Red Pill, it comes from a place of bitterness.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Big Pick. Just 1 second, sir. I'm sorry. Big Ken, the chef. Let me tell you something, Big Ken. First of all, what you need to do is be focusing on your diet plan and lowering your A1C levels and your cholesterol and your good cholesterol, and letting that outweigh the bad that is in that gut of yours that is filled with nothing but McDoubles and big fries. Like, then coming in here talking about, am I still talking about this? If that was a problem, why are you back here? Why do you have your big back behind in my live? Like, seriously, why don't you do a favor and go run around your community? Go take a run. Go get on the treadmill. Go alternate day fast. That's what I do. Why don't you just keep my weight at a good amount? So why don't you go do that? Like, honestly, legitimately, I really don't understand you big back, bitter, buck, broken bums that come in my live and have something to say. Like, really do better. I sent you a request for you to get in the live. You didn't, because you're too much of a pansy and too much of something that rhymes with wussy to come and get in this live box. So you don't get to talk trash in the box, over there in the chat, when you can't get in the live. All these other men, they hear what I'm saying. They see that we're having a heated discussion. I don't have a problem with them disagreeing with me. They're here. They're listening. We going back and forth. But you won't even get in the box. Because why? Because you're a weak man. You're a weak feminine man. And I don't even want to put it on women, because you're not feminine. You're just a weak man, period. But seriously, I really need you to take a break between eating Tostino's pizzas and freaking microwavable fries and get out of my life. Like, for real. Like, truthfully, I'm getting real tired of y'all. And I'd be really nice to a lot of you guys that really look so horribly unappealing. And I know why you're upset, because you've never had a woman ever like what she saw when you took your clothes off. That's not my fault, Big Back Chef. It's not my fault. That's your fault in nature. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go in here and block you, but don't ever come in my live again, for real. You're pathetic. Truthfully. Like, do better. Honestly, okay? Now let me go ahead and let Big Pick say what he had to say, and then I'll get up here to Kalia. Sorry about that. And Bill Schmidt, well, I'm just gonna block you. All right. You bye.
Look, I'm just gonna say real quick. Look, you know what? The reality of today's world in the dating market is outrageous. I got married in my 20s. I'm 46 years old. She was working 2 jobs and going to school, and I was driving her to work in her car. But when we started having kids, that's when I activated. That's when I started working 2 jobs and going to school. And now I pay for everything, and she's okay. So I'm just saying that, you know, we're the same age. We're both attractive, and she peaked first, and now that I hit my financial stride in my 40s, that she doesn't have to work, and that's the way it should be. But there's a different prescription for when you're dating in your 30s versus when you're dating in your 40s, because it's rough out there, and I hate to be out there. So best of luck to those people. Peace out.
I mean, I say this. I've been married for 15 years. My husband pays all the bills. He's a great man. I have no complaints about him. He's amazing. I love him just as much as I did when I first saw his face, even more and more every day. We say that about each other. I have no problems with people in relationships going through hard times and going through struggles. That's not what any of this is about. This is about the fundamentally unhealthy rhetoric that Red Pill sells to young, impressionable men, and also that some old, over the hill, undesirable, Viagra popping men have now also adopted, because they are too old and over the hill to get in with the women that their age that is in their age range. That is indeed the issue. That is indeed the problem. And also the idea of making men the victim, how somehow turning it around and making it seem as though women are oppressing men, that men, when they go outside, or they go for a run in the morning, that they have to turn around and see if there's going to be a group of women that are going to drag them into the back of the fields back there and have their way with them, when it's not true. Or
that's not a red pill thing. That's a predatory thing.
The issue. No, like I said, the issue with all of this is not, because I don't know what you bringing up your marriage was about or any of that stuff, because not any of that has nothing to do with it. All I'm talking about is the ideology and the rhetoric that is in Red Pill fundamentally.
Okay, let's address a red pill. Let's address a red pill thing.
You can come back. Go ahead, Kalia. Because we're not going to agree with it. And you arguing with Red Pill when you say that you got a whole wife and you're 46 is downright embarrassing. And I hope
we're having different conversations.
It's embarrassing.
We're having
it sucks to be you. Go ahead, Kalia.
Yeah, host, I love your YouTube channel and I love watching your commentary, and just keep on going. Please keep on going. We need your message. That's all I
Thank
gotta
you.
say.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Kalia. Big Pick Thinking says, is there a wall or not? There's a wall for men and women, if you want to call it that. But once again, as I said earlier, when you are talking about dating and relationships, which is what the quote unquote wall applies to, all you have to do is get one person out of a billion people, billions of people that exist in this world to see your worth and to see your value. And if you can't get one person, regardless of what age you are, to see your worth and your value, then I don't know. But let me say this, the wall, if you want to call it the wall of when desirability peaks or whatever, that applies to men and women. It applies to everybody. You get to be a certain age when people stop checking for you as much, where people stop stopping and staring, as much as they did before when you were at your youngest or whatever,
And what
most
age is that
desirable,
for
whatever.
women?
It the same. It applies the same for men and women. Like
Sure.
we
What
said,
age
men
is
would
that for
stop
men?
acting like when they're 25. There are men right now that are 25, 27, unattractive. They never were wanted by women. They never
Uh-huh.
were deemed as desirable. They never were deemed as attractive. No one ever wanted them. So where does the wall for the men? Like you said, that the majority of women are not even attracted to the majority of men. I think that was you, or maybe it was the other guy.
Most
So
women
if
are not
you guys
attracted to
were
most
never,
men.
if,
Most
if
men
the
are not
majority
attracted
of
to most.
women are not attracted to the majority of men, you guys were always at the wall because nobody ever wanted you until you get this miraculous success or finances when you can pay a woman to stomach you. So let's talk about it. The wall for the majority of men is permanent and forever and long lasting. So
Okay, so
really, what are we talking
once a
about?
man becomes successful, then he has access. But once a woman reaches her peak, she no longer has access,
If a
or
woman is willing to pay to play, she can also do it. Look at Cher. Cher is like almost 80. She's with a man that's 30, 36, I think. Why? Because she's paying to play. That's the exact same thing that these men are doing. There's no difference. If you're willing to pay somebody to stomach you, to see your nude body, you can get it done. Man or woman, no matter if you're 100. So there is no wall if you're willing to pay. And that's the difference between men and
Mhm.
women. And the reason why you can hide behind this wall thing is because most men have no self-respect and are willing to pay for women to touch them.
Okay,
And
so
more women are disgusted by
let's take
that.
Robert De Niro. He has a kid at 78
Disgusting.
years
Yes.
old. Let's
Yes.
take Mick Jagger. He has a
He
kid at
paid her.
80
They
years old.
paid. They paid. They paid. So what? How was that a brag? How was that a flex? They paid these girls. Do you think that these girls would touch those old crust busters if they weren't getting paid?
Okay,
These men weren't celebrities?
so
What?
if I
What?
let me ask you a question. So if I say his value is based on what he do, and her value is based on what she look like, you say that's red pill, or is that truth?
That's still red pill philosophy, is what I'm saying.
I'm
Because
just saying,
you
it's
never
red pill
talk.
truth,
Excuse
or
me.
is it
Let me finish.
philosophy?
The reason why that's not just it's not just regular philosophy
I mean, you proved my point.
because you only look at it from the male's perspective. You never look at it as if a woman like Cher, who's a perfect example that can be thrown in the Robert De Niro, Mick Jagger, Al Pacino conversation, is that if you're willing to pay for someone to touch you, there will be somebody nasty enough that is willing to accept payment, male or female. So men, red pill men, like to come and say, hey, oh my gosh, only men can do this. Only men can do this. Oh, you old over the hill ladies, nobody wants you. Nobody wants you. There is no expiration date on vagina. There will always be a man sick enough or gross enough willing to put his thing in it. Period. Even if a woman doesn't pay, there are men that are willing to literally stick their things in holes, not knowing who's on the other end. There are men sticking their things in animals and fishes' mouths. And you think that a woman, if she's 65 or 70 or 50 or 45, isn't able to have access to a man? You really think that there's a wall for women?
I'm saying, look,
So once again,
nothing you're
the reason,
saying.
no, let me say this once
Okay.
again. The problem with red pill is that they speak about these things as if they only apply to men in order to degrade women. It's just that simple. Yes, some of the things can be true, but that's not. What it is it's disingenuous because the things they say apply to both of us.
Sure.
That's it.
Look, you're not wrong. It applies to both of us. But they're having a conversation, and you're proving my point with every word that you say, is that is a fact. What he do, a broke man does not get access to women like a rich man does.
A broke
A
man does
beautiful
get
woman
access
does
to
not have
women depending on
access
what they
to
do.
rich
Just
men
depending
like
on
an
what he
ugly
looks
woman
like.
does.
If there are plenty of broke men that are extremely handsome, that are extremely
Sure,
attractive,
there are
that
some
I
out
know
there.
that get women. So it doesn't matter
Absolutely.
about it.
They
It matters
exist.
what you look like. Yes. So
Those
once
men
again, there are
exist.
outliers in everything. So
They're
there are plenty of women that prioritize looks or penis or, how a man performs in the bedroom, which is why you have so many women that come on TikTok and talk about how broke men have the best peen and they know how to do this,
Are we
that, and the
talking
third.
about the exceptions or are we talking about the rule?
There are a lot of women that are into that type of thing. That's not
really
an
is.
exception. There
Yeah.
are plenty of women that engage in that type of behavior. I guess you
Yes.
didn't know. Once again, this is what I'm saying. You're a man that said you've been married for 25 years. You clearly don't know. And also, you're not a woman, so you clearly don't know. So there are plenty of women that engage in this type of behavior.
Absolutely.
As you
I
see,
didn't say there
women
wasn't.
who are
I'm making an
vagina owners
observation.
are saying that it's true. So how would you know?
So is it red pill to say what he do and what she look like? Is that a thing or no? Is it red pill or is it true? Because before it was red pill, it was true.
Oh my goodness. I just said that red pill, the whole idea of red pill is attributing things that are applicable to men and women and making it like it's just a male thing in order to degrade women. That's what red pill is rooted in. The
Okay.
whole basis
That's fair.
behind red pill is the degradation of women. That's it. And that's why I said any man that is interested in red pill, even if some of it is true, is a disturbed psychotic individual. It's just like me being a black person and saying, hey, you know what? Some of those things the white tea supremacists say are facts. Is that true? Or is that white tea supremacy?
Some
Why
of
would
that
I
shit
ever
is
even
true.
have that conversation? Like,
And I
it's just the fact
post-
that it's associated with that. Why would I be over here talking about it? It's insane.
I don't think you heard me earlier, but I said I was former red pill. Like I say the ideology is toxic. That's
I know I heard you say you were former. I heard you.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know. It
I'm done
almost
talking about this. I'm gonna let you have 2 minutes, Tino, to speak, and then I'm about to end this live because I'm starting to get irritated. So just
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I don't need to. I don't need to finish. If you want to edit 2 minutes,
No, go ahead, Tino. I mean, however you want to finish it off, because you were
okay.
patiently waiting. I don't want to stop you from speaking.
Thank
It's no
you.
problem.
Well, I was just gonna say you are correct. Like the red pill is just toxic in general. It's exploitive. It's harmful and it's counterproductive. And I think the reason why a majority of divorces happened before in the past and why the rate's as high as it is just because the women, primarily the people that left, were not emotionally, financially, and feeling physically safe within their relationships. So it's not a surprise that women today don't see a benefit because they're not being emotionally supported. They're not really being financially supported, as a majority of men are not going to school. When ironically there's more women that are going now. And to think this changed like 2 generations ago, which is crazy to me. And they're just not physically safe. I mean, obviously, women are, like you say, being kidnapped and sadly being abused for the profit of supporting some red pill agenda. Andrew Tate. But I think a lot of men are just lacking direction and purpose. And especially us as a collective, if we don't necessarily have a direction, we can never have a stable society. And, one of the things that I really strive for, at least socially, is peace, equality, and stability. I think we need more of that.
Okay, all right. I think that that we definitely need that. I did want to respond to somebody in the comments. Hold on, I gotta go back up to see exactly what they said because my mind just went. Well, let me just say in response to the guy that was up here, I think his name was Big Pick or whatever. I always find it weird when there are married men that like super duper advocate for red pill talking points when they say that they're happily married or that, you know, their wife stuck by them and things like that. That's always really strange to me, because why are you advocating something that is rooted in thinking that your wife is subhuman, or at the very least not on the same level of you as far as humanity, not equal? Very strange to be a married man that is in agreement of that. I personally, in my opinion, I've never met a grounded man, an intelligent man, a kind man with good character that has ever gave any props to Red Pill, ever. And that's in my online life and also my personal and private life. I'm really against, you know, the excuses being made for it. At the end of the day, it's unhealthy. And like I said, you may not believe me, but maybe you'll be like, hey, this is, oh, by the way, if anybody likes this live, y'all like what I'm saying, this is my backup page. This is my third page. My main page is unpopular opinions, Black woman, BLK WMN. Also, I have a YouTube if you guys are interested in my YouTube videos, and I do upload these TikTok lives to my YouTube channel. You can just go click on the link in this bio and it'll take you right there. There's a YouTube link and you can just hit subscribe. But as I was saying, the reason why I have these conversations is because I really truly do believe that Red Pill is damaging young men and even older men as well. And I do believe that it is turning women off, and it is making women become, you know, even more divorced, like mentally, from men, and just not wanting to have anything to do with men. And I know men think that they have a very important part to play in the life of women, but in my opinion, it isn't true, because very few men actually bring true value to a woman's life. I'm not saying that there aren't any. My husband brings extreme value to my life. But I do believe he's an outlier. So what I'm saying is that men are very soon going to realize that they have overestimated their importance, and women are not going to want to have anything to do with men. And because men truly need to be around women and have that type of dynamic, and women don't, there's going to be violent acts that occur. It's going to be a whole lot of things that happen. And I really have these things because I hope that somebody that may be on the fence about Red Pill may say, you know what, maybe I should listen to her, because why in the world would I be listening to men about what women want? Why would I be listening to these men when all of them are not married? All of them are not happy. All of them don't have successful relationships where the women look happy. You know what I'm saying? I would hope that you would critically think about these things, you know, because at the end of the day, y'all are not going to realize the damage that has been done. Like I said, I would give it 10 years or less, 5 to 10 years, to really see, as I said earlier, the damage that's been done to the permanently done to the dynamics between men and women. Because at the end of the day, men need women way more. Y'all can say y'all created society and y'all built bridges and y'all built roads and you did the hard labor. Okay, cool, fine. It's already done now. And anything that a woman needs to do that's hard labor that she can't do or doesn't feel like doing herself, she can pay someone. This isn't the 1950s where she needs you for a bank account. So y'all should really think about that and think about the damage that is happening. But hopefully I can get through to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I really, really, truly hope so, because our future generations are cooked if we don't get this gender war under control. Like, seriously, because I talk to women all the time because this is what I do for a living, and there are so many women and young girls, like, and I'm talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old girls, attractive girls, pretty girls, young girls that are saying that when they grow up, they don't want anything to do with males. And they're not gay either. So that's something that should be concerning. But like I said, y'all just gonna think it's like I'm just this bitter woman, and I'm not, and I don't hate men. But anyway, it's, as I said, I'm done with this conversation. I do appreciate you, Tino, for coming. I appreciate you not taking offense for what I said. I appreciate everything that you said, even though I didn't agree with some of the things you said, but it's okay. I don't mind people not agreeing. I think that made the panel more interesting, that you didn't agree. I appreciate Big Pick, even though he dropped, for coming up. I think it was Remy that came up. And Kalia, who I appreciate you as well, sis. And I think it was a woman that came up named Big Leaf. And also, dag, I'm trying to remember everybody. I think it was it was a man. I think his name was Rodius or something like that. Appreciate him for coming up as well, even though we had like a heated discourse. I just want you to know, if you're a Black woman and you're listening to this, I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. You're special. You're valued. This will always be a safe space for Black women. This is my backup page, man. So I don't be on here that often. But if you want to follow me on my main page, it is, what is it? Shoot. The name underneath is Unpopular Opinions Black Woman, BLKWMN. So you can plug it in and find it there. Yeah. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. And I hope that you guys have a great week. And if you're a Black woman, like I said, just know that you're amazing. I hope that you get everything that you want out of life, even the things deep down inside that you're too afraid to tell anybody. You can do it. You can get that. You can, because you're just that awesome. And that's all I want to say. I'll see all of y'all later. And thank y'all for taking the time to listen to this live. All right. And my YouTube family that's listening, I love y'all too. And I hope you guys enjoy these lives. And I hope I don't get too crazy and too passionate. Oh, I don't get too passionate on here, because, it's just like sometimes these men be really getting on my nerves, especially the ones that really are into red pill, like Big Pick. Like, I would appreciate it if you would just say that you're into it, as opposed to acting like you're not and pretending that you're not, But anyway, I digress. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.